Welcome back. Welcome here to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Welcome back to the SuperStar ARCA Cup season. Tonight we have race number 11 here at Indianapolis. Patti entering 200. Tonight we have 80 laps for tonight to determine who will win as we're getting into this final few races in our home stretch of our regular season. As this week we'll have the 2.5 mile oval, and next week we'll go to a road course. So definitely a very interesting run up to the chase coming up here. But tonight, who will conquer the Brickyard?
Yeah, one of the most famous racetracks in the world here, 2.5 miles in Speedway, Indiana. Qualifying now underway here momentarily.
Yeah, last season we had Daniel Malnick's able to take the race win, but that was also in the old body ARCA Cars. So brand new body, we'll see how this completely could react completely differently. Drap's going to be a little bit more important. Tires going to wear a little bit differently, and we'll see how these drivers kind of learn the new techniques with this new ARCA car and see who can win tonight's race after 80 laps.
Yeah, still a learning curve. We've been racing these ARCA cars for a little bit some time, and they've been out for a little bit, but still a lot of learning still to do here in the SuperStar ARCA Cup series. It's qualifying right now underway here.
As on the top of the board in practice, it was Connor Smosen with a 52.98 or 918. Though that could be a little bit different with some drafts, but your typical drivers up front: Connor Smosen, Samuel Hoff, Daniel Malnick, Dustin Coggin. Ruben Rose was the top 5, Donnie Kite, but just a lot of your front runners sitting up in the top 10 runners. Once again, up in front tonight, and just we'll see who will be able to take the win. But Daniel Malnick's looking strong once again, trying to go back to back here at the Brickyard. Thomas Rosian looking to build some momentum going into the regular season. Samuel Hoff as well. All these drivers just trying to build that momentum, very important momentum coming here late into this regular season.
Yeah, it's kind of crunch time now. Only about 4 races left, including this one. All at very different racetracks as well. Now we're looking at Isaiah Waltrip there, as he's entering turn 2, exiting turn 2 now.
We'll see where Isaiah Walters can go on the board as lap number 1. So also very, very long racetrack, almost about a minute lap time. So it's going to be a little tight to get both your laps in here if you got too late.
Yeah, you really can't make a mistake here. I mean, if you want both your laps to count. So we'll see what these drivers do. Looking good so far for the 60 machine. The person goes top now. First driver said lap time, 53.626 at the time to beat. Nathan Johnson beats it, so there's a few others.
And there's Samuel Hoffman to the top of the board now with a 52.717. Oh, no, actually, that was Alex Anderson. Samuel Hoffman to 53.086. Now Alex Anderson, that was the fastest lap all night long. So great lap for that 67 machine. We'll see if he can pick it up here on lap number 2.
Really, this racetrack's all about momentum and these stock cars. It's got to really focus on turn 2 and turn 4 because those lead to the long straightaways here at Indianapolis. Molnix goes up to second, but Anderson 3/10 clear the field already through lap 1.
Connor Smosen currently on lap number 1, as he was one of those drivers that were very fast. So we'll see if he has anything for that 67 machine out
Anderson
front.
in the wall.
Anderson gets to the wall.
Not going to be able to improve. Is Hoff crossing line now? Does he improve? Looks like he will.
Jump up to second. 52.887. Connor Smosen can complete his first lap off turn number 4. We'll see where he goes. This is going to be a good indicator where he will qualify. 53.163 inside the top 10, but not fast enough for the pole yet. We'll see if he can pick up about 4/10 here on lap number 2.
Yeah, this racetrack not forgiving. It gets really tight off these exits, especially off of turn 2 and off of turn 4. We've already seen Anderson hit the outside wall in the race as well. We'll probably see a few drivers hit those outside walls off of turn 2 and off of turn 4. That's really where the racetrack is the most tight, off those exits leading onto the long straightaway.
Yeah, Savosian looked pretty tight there at turn number 2. Got pretty high on entry. Here he goes down into 3 and 4. That was a turn 3. That was a very good turn 3. It looked like he'll put it right up against that outside wall and try and get every inch of the racetrack, just like you have to do in an IndyCar here. In IndyCar qualifying, same thing with the stock cars. Get every inch of the racetrack coming to the line now. Long stretch to the line. Is Sabosian, does he have enough
No.
No, it's not. 53.091. He will improve. He'll jump up to P number 7.
Zachary Tyler not good. He sets one lap there. He's gonna be 31st. So, for Donnie Kite, last week's winner at Talladega. We'll see if he can improve. He's right now 24th. Probably not the result he wants right now in qualifying. And he looks like he's improved about a 10th or so. Let's see what that puts him. 19th, so he gets inside the top 20. I believe he's on the cutoff line for that chase right now. Right now he sits 13th place, one spot behind 12th.
Yeah, Donnie Kite last week in his interview, he feels like he had paced a lot of these races, just gets unlucky, and he was going to try and use last week, try and build that momentum and come into this final bit of the regular season. That's what's going to be very important for a lot of these drivers. So we'll see who will be able to build that momentum or continue that momentum from last week into tonight. But qualifying is over, and Alex Anderson will take your Rogue Energy Pole Award for tonight's race. Are you ready to take your sim racing to the next level? Rogue Energy is the ultimate gaming energy drink loaded with vitamins, minerals, and amino acids. Get laser-like focus, increased motivation, and longer endurance to excel on the track. Whether you're battling for the lead or perfecting your lap times, Rogue Energy gives you the edge you need. Use code RER at checkout for 10% off your purchase. Don't just play, dominate with Rogue Energy. Once again, use code RER for 10% off your purchase. So Alex Anderson, a very important pole, track position very important here. Normally get very tight in that dirty air, and dirty air is a very big factor here at Indianapolis. So those front row there for Alex Anderson, Sammy Hoff, very important tonight.
Yeah, definitely, especially with this new ARCA car. It seems a little bit more aero dependent than the old one. A little bit tougher to pass, possibly with some dirty air, the bigger spoiler and whatnot. But we'll see really how the racing is here in these heat races, and we'll see kind of a little test here. 8 laps, quite a bit of laps here for a big racetrack like this one.
Yeah, essentially, we'll see who can conquer these heat races. As track position going to be matter, but once again, as we started last week, the E Series currently now going underway, so everyone will make the field. No one gets knocked out. So we will have 40 drivers every week. 41 with the East Provisional. Whoever wins tonight in the East race is currently going on as well.
Yeah, we'll probably give some updates there periodically, check out and see who's doing well there as well.
Actually, they're currently not underway. They start a little bit later than us, but they are about to get underway for the East Series. So we'll see who will be able to win the East race and come in and have a provisional next week going into Suzuka East. So it'll definitely be very interesting, a very interesting format, and we'll see if anyone can do pretty well.
Oh, they're crashing in the back.
And get up into the Cup Series.
Wrecking, just like we saw in Indianapolis this weekend, already crashing on the pace laps. That's Timothy Presley. Not sure what happened.
Let's take a look at what happened here. His wheel disconnected. It looked like great.
I think just wasn't paying attention, maybe, possibly, and also one other driver involved, Jordan Evans. I mean, we saw that in the real life.
Evans looked like he got a little bit lucky. The bumper originally popped off, but it popped back on there.
Front damage maybe, but still.
But now we're getting down the back straightaway. Let's take a quick look at our starting lineup for heat number 1. Cameron Craig on the pole. Ryan Housen will start P number 2. Starting P3 will be Connor Simozzi, and Tate LaPrette will start 4. Starting 5th will be the 5. Ruben Rodas. Blake McClung will start 6th. 7th will be Travis Beaver. 8th will be Jimmy Dykes. 9th will be Donnie Kite. Skylar Jones rounded our top 10 for heat number 1. Jordan Warnock will start 11th. Alex McQueen will start 12th. Timothy Presley will start 13th. Dylan Lamp will start 14th. Zachary Tyler 15th. 16th will be Jordan Emmett. AJ Hudson will run a 17 car number 1.
Yeah, well, the good thing is that everyone will make the race, so that wreck doesn't really impact starting. Like, you're going to be able to start in the main event, but track position, like you mentioned before with the pole setter, Alex Anderson, will be very important. That's kind of just, you don't have a chance to really gain positions. You actually lose positions here during the heat race, so unfortunate for those drivers, but they're still in it for the next one.
And here we go, the pace car is off into the ARCA restart zone. We're underway here for heat number 1, and an even restart for Cameron Craig and Ryan Housen as they're dead even going down to the turn number 1 here. We'll see how that dirty air affects everyone behind, as there are going to be no lanes going to be open for clean air.
Side by side, we'll see if Housen can maybe pinch down Craighead here in turn 2, as they're still side by side off the exit of turn 2, possibly down the back straightaway.
Side by side lead, but now Cameron Craig had no help on the bottom as Connor Sabozzi is going to push Ryan Houston clear for the race lead. That's how Houston clear, Sabozzi clears, and Cameron Craighead hops up in line. A little bit on the wall, maybe take the front in. Cameron Craighead going to cost him a little bit of time. Ruben Rodas moves down to the bottom. They're trying to clear, take the front through 3. Not going to be able to do it. He's at the inside going into turn number 4.
So you're sign Kite up to 6, maybe up to 5th here shortly. What a start for him. They're 3 wide behind, crossing the line of bricks. That's Jimmy Geiges going to take it to the inside. He's going to clear. Oh, it's Blake McClung around.
Oh, contact!
Travis Bieber, Blake McClung in the outside wall. He's going to come back on the racetrack.
Oh, coming on the racetrack. That might collect a few more there. Yeah, it will. Jordan Evans, unlucky. Just been caught up in 2 incidents already. None of his fault there.
Like, I think Blake McClung just kind of, Travis Bieber made contact. Bieber just went up the racetrack a little bit, just shallow entry. I mean, you're 3 wide going into turn 1 at Indy, not getting into well.
Oh, huge wreck for Travis Bieber.
Yeah.
Almost slipped it there. Airtime, big amount of airtime there.
Back out front, Ryan Houtzen and Connor Zabosian exiting turn number 4 in the lap number 3 this time by.
And these top 3 have really pulled away, and then Donnie Kite kind of all by himself drove up to 4th. Great run for Donnie Kite so far. Not a great starting spot. Now he's going to be able to afford to launch him up in the field on the really well.
The race lead.
So he's able to get the race lead there off the turn number 1. We'll see what Houston can do. As everyone else single file for now down the back straightaway.
So much speed they carry down to turn 3. Kind of mind-blowing how fast they are going to these 90-degree corners. How much speed you're able to carry. Zabozzi now trying to pull away a little bit here. Housing us. He's going to break the draft a little bit. Not something you typically see in a stock car, but I think with a bigger spoiler, there might be a little bit more draft. As Houston actually getting about 2/10 down the front straightaway, so you gain quite a bit of time on these straightaways in the draft. So breaking the draft here is going to be pretty important. We saw that in Pocono a few weeks ago as well. Look on the outside wall, they might be Warnock. Looks like it is the 07 there. Side by side.
It's not Donnie Kite moved to the inside on Cameron Craighead for P number 3. Moving side by side. Cameron Craighead going to have the draft, but then the breaking the draft for Connor Sabozzi and Ryan Houston is going to help to Kite down the back straightaway into 3 here. Side by side for P number 3. Kite on the bottom. He's working his way up. Donnie Kite. Donnie Kite on the bottom, trying to make it to the inside, trying to get clear. Cameron Craighead, not the qualifying he wanted, but he's using his heat race to his advantage to try and drive up through the field and get a really good starting spot for tonight.
Up in the top 3 spot, and he still has half the heat race left to go. He can easily maybe come away with a heat win. He has the speed so far.
Very fast right now. He's looking to the inside. He's got that little bit of clean air on the nose as he's putting it where that air is fresh, right on the nose, and it's working out. A little bit shallower entry, gets that clean air, almost gets to the inside of Ryan Houston off of turn number 2, but it's not going to help. But right now, those top 3, Connor Sabozzi pulling away as the rest battle behind.
3-car train here down the back straightaway. There's a little bit more on back as well. Ruben Rodas, Jimmy Geiges, and Skylar Jones side by side behind them. Jordan, Warnock, and Jones.
It's off of turn number 4. This now Donnie Kite, Ryan Houston, and Cameron Craighead trying to work together to catch Connor Sabozzi, and as everyone else kind of do the same thing as we have packs of maybe 3 or 4 cars here and there, trying to catch the pack in front of them. Cameron Craighead hard on the wall, turn number 1. That's going to cost a little bit of time. We might help take the threat. Ruben Rodas maybe catch him a little bit, but he's starting to struggle a little bit. He's going to fall, lose touch over top 3. But down the back straightaway, big draft for Ryan Houston. He's going to look to the inside, side by side with the lead going into 3.
Side by side in turn 3. Can Zabozzi hang on for the race lead for 2.5 laps to go. Houston looking really good through 3, through 4. Here he goes. Zabozzi's not really pinching him down, giving him plenty of room off the exit. Who will Donnie Kite go with? He will go bottom. Oh, some contact there. Almost, I think he almost hooked Houston there. But Kite gonna actually go work with his teammate now up top, gonna try to push him. That's 2 laps to go this time by. So here comes Craig as well back in the picture.
They just had a little bit of battling helping him as Donnie Kite now nowhere to go to get clean air. He just got kind of sit behind, lay off a little bit, and try to get the run up the corners as best as he can. He can close that gap down, maybe make a move for the lead. Off of turn number 2, he's had a good run, but he's going to dive it down to the bottom. 3 wide for the lead as they go down the back straightaway. Where Cameron Cricket is, this will help him down the back straightaway as Ryan Houston. He's still barely getting the inside, but he's going to slot back in line.
As here comes Donnie Kite for the race lead.
Fighting his Juicy
Spider
contact
behind! Craig got in the house in there, almost up the racetrack. They went to the outside wall as off of turn 4 comes to the white flag.
Down the front straightaway for the ultimate time. Donnie Kite on the bottom, no help. Can he slot back up in line behind his teammate? He should stay alongside though. The side draft gonna help him.
Here comes Craighead.
Craighead gonna try and do the same thing. Donnie Kite just did off of turn number 2. 1 lap ago. Kite on the bottom. Sabosi is still holding the outside. Donnie Kite won at Talladega last week. Didn't get the qualifying, he won it, but using this heat race to his advantage. He's looking for the heat down the back straightaway. Side by side for the lead is in down the back straightaway.
Is Kite gonna probably slot in line here? He's clear. He's gonna stay behind Sabosi, and he's gonna try to slingshot his way past down the front straightaway. I don't know if he'll have enough time to do so, as I think the checkered flag might be out, it says.
So off turn number 4, coming to the line. Connor Sabosi with the run, but here comes Donnie Kite. Is it enough draft? Does he have enough of a run? No, he will not. Connor Sabosi's gonna pick up heat number 1. Donnie Kite barely gets there, but a great heat number 1 there as Cameron Cricket will pick up 3rd, and Ryan Houston rounds up the top 4.
As right now for 13th, Blake McClung gonna come around. Should be clear, he's gonna finish 13th, but I think the timing was very close there because we already had the checkered flag out. It said on my timing scoring, and the seconds were counting down. So I'm not sure how close the timing were for the heat races. Because 8 laps here for the heat races are quite a long time, so we'll see.
They have plenty of time, and that's 20 minutes. So I think it's just probably a little bit scoring error.
I believe the results were the same though.
The results were the same as we'll take a look at those results for heat number 1 as Connor Sabosi able to pick up the heat win over his teammate of Donnie Kite. And Donnie Kite, great heat race, show from 9th, and that's going to put him really good as he'll start 5th in tonight's race. So great run for Donnie Kite there in heat number 1. Cameron Cricket will round out 3rd, Ryan Houston in 4th as they were kind of that first pack, but they kind of had a little bit of contact there coming to the line, and that allowed Tate LaPrette to close in. Tate LaPrette still rounds out 5th, Ruben Rodas in 6th, Jimmy Geikis in 7th, Skylar Jones in 8th, Jordan Warnock in 9th, Alex McNeil rounds out the top 10. Dylan Lamp finishing 11th, Zachary Tyler in 12th, Blake McClung in 13th, AJ Hudson in 14th, Timothy Presley in 15th, Jordan Evans 16th, Travis Weir will round out our 17-car field for heat number 1. Luckily, as those drivers not getting great results they would hope for in heat number 1, as they don't have to worry about missing the field tonight. So, be all right. They'll just have to start towards the back, and they'll definitely be very tough how to work their way through the dirty air tonight. As you saw it happen, those drivers in the back really didn't go much, but that just mainly was kind of avoiding those wrecks. But most of the drivers stayed around the same position, just trying to battle that dirty air. But Donnie Kite, though, he had a lot of speed. As he started 9th, that 2-car might be one of those drivers you want to look out for tonight.
Yeah, just not maybe the one lap pace that you like, but definitely has the race pace to work his way through the field. We saw after the heat race, and he's now starting in 5th place. So a lot better than 19th. So he made up 14 positions there in that heat race, and that's just kind of shows you how important these heat races are, and also kind of vice versa. If you have a great qualifying but a bad heat race, you can find your way in the back real quick.
Yeah, these heat races, they don't really set the field anymore, but they do set that grid, and it allows maybe someone who didn't really qualify very well to move up through the field. But as we'll take a look right now at our starting lineup for heat number 2, as Daniel Walnick will start on pole, Michael James will start 2nd, Kyle Holinsky will start 3rd, Dustin Hagen will start 4th. Running our top 5 in heat number 2 here will be Nathan Johnson, Cliff Adams will start 6th, 7th will be Nate Boggins, Craig Martin will start 8th, Noah Benson will start 9th, Christopher Bush will start 10th, Isaiah Walters will start 11th here in in heat number 2. Brian Marshall will start alongside him in 12th. 13th will be Dan Ryberg. Albert Lopez will start 14th. 15th will be Timic Basketball. 16th will be Christian Schrager. And right here, our 17-car field here for heat number 2 will be Alan Kennedy.
We'll see what this heat brings us. Heat number 1 shows some great racing. We'll see if we see it in heat number 2.
This pace car will take that hard left turn onto pit road. We'll see if any driver can move their way up just like Donnie Kite in heat number 1, or will someone not do very well in this heat and start in the back. But we'll see how that goes. Green flag in the air. We're underway for heat number 2.
Side by side through the whole field, pretty much through turn 1. As Molnix does clear for the race lead easily. Some contact in the back there. It's Christopher Busch on the outside wall for turn 2 as Michael James moves himself clear in the second. Same with Karolinski in third. Side by side with fourth behind Justin Coggin and Nathan Johnson. As already early on, Daniel Molnix breaking the draft.
And Daniel Molnix had that crucial clean air out in front already. Karolinski hops in line behind Michael James as he thought about looking to the inside going down to turn 3, but they're going to try and break away from the rest of the field. So see how that works out. But right now, Nathan Johnson looking at the inside of Dustin Coggin for P number 4. So stay side by side. Most of the field staying side by side for now.
So let's see guy around Michael James there for a second, but Molnix is now pulling away. If he pulls away enough, the draft will not be important. There's almost 3 wide here in Indianapolis coming across the bricks as drivers darting to the inside. Almost stays double foul here through turn 1 already. A lot of action so far. 1 lap into this one.
Yeah, there's a lot of action right now, but all this battling is allowing.
Oh, it's caught the wall, and around goes Cliff Adams. He's gonna shoot back on the racetrack.
Oh, back on the racetrack. Christian Schweger, a hard wreck. Got a car stopped up there as well. 78s.
Cliff Adams was the one that went spinning into the inside wall. Off for turn 2. Let's take a look at what happened there. I think he got hooked by someone. Actually hit the outside wall. Nate Bogus was right there, nowhere for Nate Bogus to go.
Bounces off the inside, right up into the Christian Schweger. Huge wreck there.
Just got tight. I think dirty air from Nathan Johnson possibly. And hard, vicious hit for both of them. And terrible for Christian Schweger as he was kind of just unlucky there. There's nowhere for him to go and nothing he could really do there. Go back out front as Karolinski in second, trying to chase down Daniel Molnix, and he has the draft now. He's in drafting range about half a second. Ooh, car in the outside wall. I think it was Craig Martin there. As we're gonna split the gap. Nate Bogus 3 wide. What a move there. He moves up himself up to 6th.
Yeah, good move for Nate Bogus.
Contact behind.
Through the corner. Oh, the 13 up, way up the racetrack there.
It's Swall got
Dan
into
River.
the gray, as they call it.
And where all those marbles formulate, and it's just not what you want to get up there. You dirty up your tires, and
It's
it
3
really
wide.
makes it understeer. But 3 wide once again here. That kind of around the mid pack, around in 7th. That's Craig Martin on the bottom, trying to get by Isaiah Watchers. He's going to be able to make the move and clear down in the turn number 1.
And now single file back out. We go back up to the race lead. Karolinski is now chasing down Daniel Molnix. He's gained about 2 tenths that time by. Behind him, he has some drivers that want to battle him as well. But Michael, ooh, come on, contact there. Nathan Johnson, Dustin Coggin. And blocking going on already. And based off this heat race, I don't think the leader can really get away unless we have green flag pit stops. So Karolinski up the racetrack he goes. I think he got shot from Michael James there in the turn 3.
Just like you said, it's about all that momentum. If you get out in the lead, yeah, it'll be nice if you try to break away a little bit. You try to break away, but you gotta hope they kind of keep battling behind him. But then also, when you try to save your tires out front, it's kind of very hard to judge and keep that perfect run. And if you save a little bit too much and kill your momentum, allow those drivers behind you to catch up. Especially those drivers are not battling and working together like they were a lap ago. But as they started battling off of 4, it allowed Daniel Molnix to pull away by half a second.
Yeah, just really like IndyCar racing. We saw in the Indy 500, like the lead just can't get away. With the guys behind start battling, he has a little bit of a cushion, but it's just a matter of time before they catch back up.
Now the single file again. We'll see if they can keep it together, keep it straightened out here. If they all four of them can get in a line, they can catch Daniel Mollick's again. But just as they single file out, just only about halfway down the straightaway, they pulled about 2-3 tenths on Daniel Mollick's. That shows you how strong this draft is, especially with multiple cars in a line. So these guys really work together. No matter how much Daniel Mollick breaks the draft here, these guys can stay in a line. They can really chase down Daniel Mollick.
Yeah, right there, you get about a tenth and a half there down the front straightaway, even with breaking the draft. So, I mean, with that big spoiler in the rear end, I just don't think it's going to be possible to really pull away until you have green flag pit stops, and obviously in this heat race, we don't. But once we have green flag pit stops and you have a little bit of gap to each other, I think that's when we'll see some separation. But I think it's going to be mostly kind of like real-life IndyCar racing here at Indianapolis. Just kind of a little bit of a pack racing, and maybe a little bit more passing than you see typically in an IndyCar race here.
And Nathan Johnson and Michael James, they pulled really close there down the back straightaway. Now they're trying to work together once again, working very well together. But now it's starting to get a little bit harder to close that gap as you kind of get that dirty air to Daniel Mollick. So these two trying to work together as they can also get the dirty air on each other. That slows down Michael James to get to the back bumper Nathan Johnson. But Daniel Mollick's able to hold on for now, pulling away a little bit, but they're not very packed up tightly together enough to maybe start gaining a little bit more time.
And Mollick's that time didn't try to break the draft. Interesting strategy call from him, but we go back in the mid-pack. You got Albert Lopez and Christopher Busch side by side here for top 10 spot. This would be for 20th. I believe it was Christopher Busch on the outside wall. There's contact. Lopez around and around spinning.
David Rourke.
360.
Great little 360 there to keep it going.
Pit road exit as I think here comes Tim McBasketball. He might take that position up to 13th, which would make him start 26th into the next race. As Brian Marshall passed by Mr. Busch as well, side by side here up ahead in the second pack of cars behind the race leaders.
At this time by will be coming to one lap to go. Daniel Mollick, he breaks the draft again, but Michael James, Nathan Johnson trying to follow through. I think you'll see how well they can stick to him as they're within a few car lengths, but Nathan Johnson, this is going to be the most important corner. Can he stay within that dirty air, stay close enough to get a big enough draft to maybe make a move? Really good turn one for Nathan Johnson. He's going to tag the wall just a little bit, though.
He has to focus on the exit of turn 2. This is the most important exit here. Down the back straight, down the long back straight. He has Michael James for some help. James isn't going to follow. Not really working together too well. He gains a little bit of time on Molnick. As here comes James out to the inside. Gonna take a peek, not enough as we're side by side behind for 4th. As side by side also for 6th, 2x2 here in the second pack.
Nathan Johnson, he's got one last opportunity off of turn number 4. Can he get a run just like down the tight, but is it going to be enough? He's got the clean air on the nose, just a little bit on the bottom of off of turn 4. Off of 4, Nathan Johnson, he's going to have a good run. He had to turn it a little bit more off of the corner to keep it off the wall, but not enough of a run. Daniel Mollick should pick up heat number 2.
As behind them for 8th place side by side. Nate Mollick gets 6th, or 7th, as they Walter 6th.
They weren't able to pick up 8th there. But once again, a very exciting heat race. You saw a lot of dirty air, a lot of draft having to work together. So if these guys really, if the pack really gets separated tonight, it's going to be very important to hold on to that position and trying to work together and not try to battle everyone around you. You don't want that leader to get away. We'll see how that goes. But let's before we get going here for the feature, let's take a quick look at our starting finishing results here for heat number 2. Daniel Mollick able to pick up the race, the heat win. Nathan Johnson 2nd, Michael James in 3rd, Dustin Coggin 4th, Kyle Linsky in 5th, Isaiah Walters 6th, Nate Blogg is 7th, Craig Martin finishing 8th, Noah Benson 9th, Brian Marshall rounds up the top 10. Finishing 11th in heat number 2, Christopher Busch, Dan Reverock will finish 12th, Tim McBasketball 13th, Alan Kennedy in 14th, Albert Lopez in 15th, Christopher Sugar in 16th, and Cliff Adams are our 17th car heat number 2 finishing results as now they move in to warm up and have a little bit of a break to relax after those heat races. So we're going to take this moment to step away. We'll be right back here for the Brickyard for tonight's Patti and Jay 200.
Drag race still live, the leaders, Johnson and Hole, 4-1. 5 champion Bryce Shoemaker is going to take the victory 128 laps without a pit stop.
Donnie Kite's going to get through it all and score his first career win. Saturday Night Racing League and throwback at Charlotte goes to Josh Adams.
Welcome back to the Brickyard for tonight's Patti Engineering 200 for the SuperStar ARCA Cup race number 11 of the season as we get into the final 5 races of the regular season, as we'll see who can conquer the Brickyard here in Speedway, the virtual Speedway, Indiana. But as we just wrapped up our heat races and very exciting heat races, I think we're looking at for a very exciting 200 miles here tonight.
Yeah, very good racing so far in the heat races. A little bit of a pack racing factor into this one with the big spoilers here in an ARCA car. And obviously everyone will want to win at the most famous racetrack in the world, Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Kiss the bricks here tonight. And obviously green up here momentarily.
But while they grid up and we're getting underway, we'll take a look at our starting lineup for tonight's race. As well, at the top of the show, Alex Anderson able to take our Rogue Energy Pole Award. Samuel Hoff able to pick up a second, as starting third tonight will be our Heat 1 winner of Connors Rosian, Daniel Wallace, winning Heat number 2. We'll start fourth. Donnie Kite, bad starting spot in Heat number 1, drove all his way up to second in Heat 1. He'll start 5th tonight. Nathan Johnson will start 6th. Starting 7th will be the 48 of Cameron Craighead. Michael James will start 8th. Starting 9th will be the 98 of Ryan Houston. Dustin Congan will round out Heat number 10. Tate LaPrette will start 11th. Kyle Holinsky will start 12th. 13th will be the 5 of Ruben Rodas. Isaiah Walters will start 14th. 15th will be Jimmy Geikis. Nate Bogus will start 16th. 17th will be the 47 of Skylar Jones. Craig Martin will start 18th. That 44 machine. Jordan Warnock will start 19th in the 07. And Noah Benson will start the 20th in that 34 machine. Alex McQueen will start 21st. Brian Marshall will start 22nd. 23rd will be the 55 of Dylan Lamp. Chris Roche will start 24th alongside him. 25th will be Zachary Tyler. Dan River will start 26th. 27th will be Blake McClung. And Tim McBass will start 28th. 29th will be AJ Hudson. Allie Kennedy will start 30th. 31st tonight will be Timothy Presley. Albert Lopez will start 32nd. 33rd will be the 16 of Jordan Evans. Christian Stryker will start 34th. Running our final row of the night, Travis Weaver in the 94 machine will start 35th. Running our 36 car field for tonight will be the 78 of Cliff Adams.
We are now making the way down to the back of the way. And EOLs, I believe I saw there. Not sure exactly. I think Blake McClung, EOL there, has a black flag, so not sure if you have a draft opponent or an EOL, but in the meantime, though, about to go green here. And fuel strategy-wise, I believe it was 20 laps on fuel. Overall, 18 to 21 laps on fuel. So, restop race, we go green and could run out of tires depending on the cautions as well. And also the East race, racing at Michigan currently, they're underway green as well. So, we'll keep an update on that race and see who's doing well and also who will be the winner of that one, as it should finish before our race here tonight at Indianapolis.
Yep, and we'll see who will be able to make that spot going into next week out Suzuka East. Four penalties here to start this race. Michael James, Jessica and Carl Linsky will go to the back of the field. Blake McClung will have a drive-through to start this one, but to Alex Anderson, Samuel Hoff on the front row. Green flag is out. We're underway for the Patti Engineering 200.
It's too wide, enter in turn 1. Samuel Hoff clears Alex Anderson. Anderson must just not have got a good up through the gears there, down into turn 1, but Hoff leads down turn 2, down the back straightaway here at the Brickyard.
Yeah, amazing start for Samuel Hoff there as he's going to try and pull away, break the draft as they snake it down the back straightaway. As they go down the back straightaway for the first time tonight, Daniel Alex in there in third as he's going to maybe be the first car side by side. He'll slot up in line, but back side by side for fourth between Connors Rosian and Nathan Johnson.
Just flying down into turn 3 as still single file for the most part through the top 4 as Donnie Kite side by side with Connors Rosian. He was duking that with Zabosian in heat number 1. and he takes Zabosian's spot there down the front straightaway.
They all go down the front straightaway across the yard of Ricks for the first time tonight. The top 4 single file, top about 10 actually single file, as first driver side by side. Nate Ball gets there and Ryan Houston for about that 10th place spot as they single file it out. But now everyone's single file trying to get in that draft train. Kyle Craighead looking to the inside of turn number 2.
That's for 7th place on Azale Walters. Walters not having any of it. He pinches Craighead down quite a bit. Craighead slots back in line, but Hoff trying to break the draft from Anderson. Down the back straightaway, entering turn number 3. As this racetrack kind of drives like Pocono in some sense, but all the turns are mostly similar to each other. Obviously, some little minor details that are making them a little different each all 4 turns, but I think this track is very similar to Pocono hot races, especially in this ARCA car.
It's just you see that a lot of draft dependent is what we've been seeing tonight, but also it's kind of different to what we see compared to currently contact a little bit between Daniel Maldix and Nathan Johnson. They're battling side by side for 3rd. That's not Alex Anderson and Samuel Hall to pull away, but they're side by side for 3rd. Donnie Kite trying to find his way through behind him. It's down the back straightaway. Oh my, Samuel Hall going around for the race lead! Contact with Alex Anderson, and Donnie Kite goes barrel rolling down the back straightaway in 83. Massive wreck for the race lead on here on lap 3.
As that has big implications here is Donnie Kite. Wow, 13th in points, was having a great run, and like he mentioned last week in his interview, having bad luck, and that's the bad luck we're talking about right there. Wow.
Donnie Kite, nowhere to go in that wreck as he ends up getting the worst out of that barrel rolling multiple times as he's pushing Nathan Johnson all over the back home. Nathan Johnson has no idea it's there. As on, if you go on board with that 2 machine, he's just got the bumper full of Nathan Johnson. He's just trying to shove on to the race lead. But Samuel Hoff and Alex Anderson a little bit of contact down the back straightaway, and Donnie Kite, huge wreck.
It's kind of hard to judge on whose fault it is. There is a gap there, but it's barely a gap. But I mean, yeah, we'll go on board Donnie Kite here as he's right. I mean, he's right behind Nathan Johnson, so he can't see anything. And all of a sudden, there's a car spinning right in front of him. Yeah, there's nothing he could do.
Wild ride here. Just look at that, and just the unlucky for Donnie Kite. As I mean, he mentioned it last week, and it's just Donnie Kite. He won last week. Wanted to turn his season around and make that final push for the chase, and just that is not going to help him tonight. Christian Schwager also involved, a few others involved as well.
Might have been locking up trying to avoid this. This is Christian Schwager right here. I don't believe he got damaged. There's another car that spun out. Schwager trying to lock up, actually got into Tim McBasketball there. There's one car on the inside. Ryan Marshall, yes it is. I don't believe they got damage. Actually, no, he did get hit through the inside wall. See what happens to his 64 machine. Maybe I hit from behind. Looks like he did. I mean, no one's expecting a wreck on the straightaway, especially not 3. I mean, you can't really see much as everyone's just kind of single files. Everyone had to go through the pit entry, the old pit entry, turn 3 and 4. But Anderson actually severely damaged as well. So our top 2 in qualifying out.
And interesting, Alex Anderson, that is not a meatball flag. He really could have stayed on this racetrack if he really wanted to.
Obviously not.
Obviously he's happy. iRacing is happy with that car, how it's driving. I don't understand how that works, but Alex Anderson to come down pit road to try to fix that as best he can. But he would definitely be severely damaged for the rest of the night.
There has to be at least double-digit repairs there, I believe. That's a crab walk and a half. 2006 right there, but anyways, top 2 in qualifying. We thought track position was going to be important, but the top 2 out already early on this race, lap 5. Wow.
Yeah, just very unfortunate incident there. We saw those Alex Anderson trying to get to the outside, trying to stay to the outside of Samuel Hoff, and just the gap was there, just not close enough, and just a little bit too little space. It ended up getting into Samuel Hoff. Probably just a little aggressive to do that very early, but
yeah, I mean,
track is just very important. They were fighting for it hard up front.
Looking back at it, I just don't think Anderson should have made the move, because outside into turn 3, you're not really going to get around him unless you have a major speed advantage, which he really didn't. I think it was kind of just being side by side just to be side by side at that point. You weren't really making a pass because in no world are you making a pass on the outside in the turn 3 unless you're an Indy car and you have that much draft. But I mean, there was a gap there. I mean, he did put his car there, but he hit the outside wall. It was, I think both of them may have been a little bit aggressive there, but yeah, I mean, I think Anderson probably just should have stayed behind and tried to pull away, but you know, obviously, points-wise, these guys should be okay to make the chase, but still, I mean, you still want a good spot for the chase, and you never know what could happen these next few weeks. You know, you crash out 2 of the last 4 races, then you could still be looking on the outside, looking in possibly, because you got Suzuka next week, which road course racers, Hoff usually a pretty good road course racer, so he's pretty good there. You have Old Atlanta, which is more of a driver school racetrack, and then you got Michigan, which is probably a little bit of a pack race in this ARCA car, I would say. But very unique racetracks all around these next 4 races, so I mean, this is really the crunch time here, and look on the outside looking in, you got Alex McQueen in 14th. Currently he is running in, I'm going to find Alex McQueen.
Yeah, but as you mentioned, Michigan being coming up later on the schedule is currently right now, as ARCA East tonight is at Michigan, and it's kind of like a pack race out there tonight. So if whoever's in that ARCA East race right now wins the week before Michigan, before we get to Michigan here in the Cup Series, in the SuperStar Cup Series, that's great practice, great experience for those guys in the East Series tonight.
Yeah, as Alex McQueen currently running 13th, so a really good spot for him. He's currently 14th in the points. And Hunter Sr., I don't believe is here tonight, so he's running 10th in the points. Well, I believe there is a drop or 2. Not sure exactly how many drops they get, but obviously that's not calculated in the standings right now. So you miss a race or 2, you might be okay. But usually it's just your worst 2 finishers gets deleted pretty much. Or as I like to say, your best pretty much.
We'll see how those drop weeks play out, and we'll see how this. I mean, we're still got a few races left here in the regular season. You could see a big swing, and I mean, we thought Donnie Kite, he could have a chance to maybe start to build some momentum, but just unlucky again, just nowhere to go in that incident, as that was our first caution of the night. But everyone doubling back up, getting ready to go, as now the brand new contenders out in front: Nathan Johnson, Daniel Molnix, and Connors Bozian. He's good, very strong, but our top 2 fastest that were all night long qualified are on the front row. Both of those drivers out here early. The pace car is off, back of the way here for the Brickyard. Daniel Molnix, a great start. He clears Nathan Johnson down into turn number 1. It's going to stay side by side for 3rd, as Isaiah Walters, Connor Sabosian side by side for that 3rd place spot.
Follow up for the top 4 position. And side by side here, it's Noah Benson right there. 34 machine to the inside. Jimmy Dykes here for 8th. In front of them, Nate Bogus and Craig Martin. And so we're going to see, here comes Nathan Johnson on Daniel Molnix. Gonna clear in the turn 3, but also Sabosian gonna try to take advantage of that one. He's looking for 2nd place right now. As an interesting note, Seymour Hoff is back on the racetrack right now. 33rd. So Nathan Johnson.
A big wreck off of turn 4. Multiple cars involved there.
Car flipping.
This car flipping. Alan Kennedy. Yeah, I was gonna mention Alan Kennedy. He got the unexpected pole. He was excited for that pole last week in Talladega, and just not a great run for him tonight, and he's going to end pretty much on his roof there. Heavy damage for a lot of those drivers.
Nathan Johnson, luckily he did. The caution came out right when it did, as he hit the wall pretty hard off of turn 4.
Chris Traeger involved again as well. Christopher Busch involved. Cameron Craighead. Don't know. Cameron Craighead may have got through.
As it all started with Alex McQueen, I believe, got into Christopher Busch there. McQueen gets through, but everyone just piling in off of turn 4.
Dylan Lampick gets involved there. Jordan Evans. Cameron Craighead, great avoidance there. He gets through as he went to the back.
I think they both kind of got into each other. Christopher Busch was turning for the corner. McQueen maybe got a little tight there on the entry to turn number 3 or 4. So. Big wreck happens behind. Queen luckily gets through it. Probably will get EOL next week, possibly. I mean, this is right around mid-pack, around 10th place, and a lot of these drivers nowhere really to go. It's a tight racetrack, and once you kind of pick a line, you don't really have much time to slow down in these ARCA cars. I mean, how tight this racetrack is, and it's single groove. Everyone's running the bottom, so once there's a wreck on the bottom of the racetrack, you're pretty much bound to have a bunch of drivers involved. Especially off of turn 4, no one's trying to lose that much momentum. So Nathan Johnson's still our race leader as of now.
Yeah, and 2 early incidents back-to-back there, but while we have the moment, Donnie Kite in our Watchers Medical Center as he's coming out for the virtual infield care center. Donnie Kite able to win last week at Talladega, wanted to build your momentum tonight, but just unfortunate, unlucky again, and you went barrel rolling. How are you feeling after that one?
Oh man, I've been sitting here watching this replay. It's annoying because, you know, that's the type of stuff we were supposed to clean up by creating that second division. And I mean, it's lap 2, man. I should not be on my lid on lap 2. I'm just over it.
Yeah, just really unfortunate circumstance. You're pushing Nathan Johnson down the back straight, just kind of can't really see anything. And it's just really unfortunate there, but coming off the win last week, and next week we're going to the road course of Suzuka's, so just how you gonna kind of try to forget tonight, maybe, and just try to build those final few races and try to make your final push as much as you can for that chase spot.
Well, I mean, I hate wrecking on tracks. I feel like I'm pretty good at winning. We were pretty good in practice. I missed it in qualifying. I don't know what I did, but we were fast in the heat race, so missed opportunity for sure. Road courses aren't my best opportunity, but I guess I'm going to put some time in on the sim throughout the week and try to get good at the track. Hopefully I can at least get out of there with a finish. And then I don't even know how many races are left. What, 2 more after that?
After Suzuka, we do 2 more. Atlanta will be Atlanta and Michigan. So how do you feel going into those final few races there and those final few races of the regular season here? How do you feel strong at Atlanta and Michigan?
Is it the old Atlanta or the new one?
I believe it is the new Atlanta. There isn't any indication for old Atlanta. I'm not sure.
It is old Atlanta.
It's Legacy Atlanta. Okay, so yeah, that's definitely going to be an interesting race there.
Old Atlanta. Oh, well, I feel really good then about going to Old Atlanta. Anytime that you start wearing out these tires, I mean, I don't know how the ARCA car is going to act there, but, you know, if we can start tearing up the rubber a little bit, I should be able to, you know, I think I'm decent at saving tires, so I would expect the 2 car to at least be somewhat competitive at Atlanta, if not try to go for that win, especially after tonight and Suzuka. I don't know how I'm going to run at Suzuka, but we'll see.
And unfortunate record for you. Thanks for your input on that incident there, and we'll be looking back to the season. We'll see you next week at Suzuka.
All right, thanks, Aaron and Talon. You guys have a good one.
So that was Donnie Kite involved in that lap 5 incident. Or they're rolling there as we were 1 to green, but we do have a delayed green there. I'm not sure what it was for.
Must be
a car stopped
on track, yeah, probably. But already only 10 laps into this one, and I mean, this has been a very chaotic race so far, and not really a track you expect that much chaos. Indianapolis usually a little calmer race. Obviously, maybe they've been watching the Indy 500 and wanted to see one up them, I guess, or something. We had a crash in the pace laps. The car's barrel rolling on lap 5 down the back straightaway, so I mean,
yeah, very interesting.
So
the Brickyard has been definitely producing some very interesting races these past couple of weeks here on the service and also in real life. So definitely been definitely kind of an anomaly right now with the Brickyard. But we'll see if these drivers can clean it up here in those final 70 laps. Still a while to go right now.
And we still have a couple of pit stops left. Pit stops still got to make 3 in total. Some drivers have already pitted, but I think they still got to make 3 pit stops overall.
And these cautions really helped those drivers. These cautions really help those drivers towards the back and be able to top it off, get a little bit extra fuel going into the rest of this race. As currently coming into this race, there's around 18 to 21 laps on fuel, so it could have been close on about a 3-stop strategy, depending on how you run the pack. If you're out in front leading, like Samuel Hoff was, it maybe could have been a little bit closer on that 3-stop strategy if you're really burning the fuel and staying out front. But if you're kind of staying towards the back, getting a lot of that draft in dirty air and just really taking your time through the field, you could have maybe stretched about 21, maybe even 22 laps, depending on the fuel. But now all these cautions really going to help them all these drivers to easily make a 3-stop race.
Yeah, would be no problem there. As I believe everyone inside the top 13 have not pitted. 13 on forward. Have not come down pit lane yet. 10 laps on this one. Obviously, tire wear probably hasn't been the biggest factor so far tonight. Obviously, I think we've only had like 4 laps green, possibly, maybe less, maybe more, give or take. But, I mean, right now, it's just like, it could be a race about who survives the most, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a long green flag run here. I think Indianapolis, Pocono, or those type of racetracks where you kind of expect a long green flag run because the field kind of just gets spread out here. With how the racing's been tonight, I don't know if it really gets spread out at that point where we can see a long green flag run. We saw that Pocono.
And we saw a lot of these tracks, like drafting tracks, and a lot of short tracks kind of come back to back a little bit. We saw Myrtle Beach, Knoxville in the All-Star race, and now we're going to kind of see the drafting tracks come into play as we have Indy, Michigan as the regular season finale. We also have Atlanta in there, but you have a road course splitting up here for Indy, but also Michigan once again being that from the East race side. So if whoever gets the East Regional, we'll have pretty good practice for Michigan, so that'll definitely be interesting to watch as East currently under caution right now, but as they're in Michigan currently going on as well as Summit Tennessee with the Cup Series. With the pace car off, we're back on the way here for the Rickyard.
Great start from Nathan Johnson there, going to clear in the turn 1 as they're side by side behind Connor Sabozzi and Daniel Molnix for second.
Sabozzi down the bottom, Molnix with the run on the high lane, side by side down the short chute into turn number 2. Sabozzi can keep his nose to the inside to try and drive it into turn number 2. He's going to get very tight though. That's going to cost him a lot of momentum off of turn 2.
It's a single file out for the top 4 spots as here comes Isaiah Walters with it all the way to the inside. Not sure exactly why, but he's going to be side by side with Sabozzi entering turn 3. He's going to really send in there almost some contact up the racetrack. Sabozzi goes. Sabozzi's going to clear off of turn 3, possibly no. Walters with a good run off of turn 3 into turn 4. Sabozzi does clear though as a single file out for most of the top 10 spots.
And all this foul is allowing Nathan Johnson and Daniel Molnix to pull away from the field by a long shot. As right now, Nate Bogus and Ryan Houston side by side for that 5th place spot.
Contact!
Let's go past the bricks, yard of bricks, down to the turn number 1. That's right behind him, though. You got that 34 machine of Noah Benson trying to work his way up as a little bit of accordion as they check up all the way back to Ruben Rodas. As that's allowed side by side. Cameron Craighead trying to move his way back.
And he did pit 8 laps to go. Now it actually goes up to 12th place. And trying to get some more here as he's side by side with Skyler Jones pushing Alex McQueen as they're side by side ahead. Around 6th place as that's Ryan Houston and Nate Bogus.
Yeah, right outside this top 5, we got a lot of kind of a hornet's nest around through the rest of the field. A lot of these drivers going side by side, trying to work together, trying to widen their line a little bit, try and get some cleaners on the front of the nose. Dirty air being a very big factor right now. Jimmy Kike is to the inside of Noah Benson for P number 7. Actually, that might be a little bit farther, maybe about P8 as Craig Martin jumped them both. So back in 9th now is Noah Benson side by side with Ruben Rodas. Up the racetrack goes Ruben Rodas, almost gets into Noah Benson through 1 and 2 as Cameron Craighead. He's now working his way up to the top 10 now. So he's had very good pace tonight as he pitted very early. See what Cameron Craighead can do if he get up through the field.
He has made his way through the field up to 11th now. Trying to get around 10th place of Ruben Rodas, put himself in the top 10. With Daniel Molnix all over the back bumper of Nathan Johnson. Molnix, Johnson, Zabozin. I think those drivers are very calm and collected, so I think we're going to try to pull away, be a little smart here, pull away from the rest of the field. I think he's got drivers doing the best in the leagues as well.
Yeah, and these drivers should working together to try and use that race sense, try to maybe get these three as a breakaway altogether. There's most of those drivers behind them kind of battling for that spot, and it's allowing kind of a breakaway to form, kind of like a what you see in real life cycling as well, kind of get that breakaway out early and try to pull away, and just kind of the same principle here on the draft tracks, especially with this ARCA car.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you kind of see that a lot in motorsports as well, especially in the lower horsepower packages. Kind of pull away, and kind of like a Mazda race or something like that as well.
Yeah, we see that a lot of Mazda as well, like Daytona road course in real life. You see those two drivers, they start to battle around for that top 5 spot and try to pull away, and that's kind of what's happening here. Is right now top 3 have gone and covered the rest of the field by about a second, but then they're single filed out for now, for a little bit spread out, but then really around that top 10 spot, they're all battling for every spot they can get. It's really in that mid pack of the field. Is
Side by side, basically as soon as we say that, Molnix goes to the inside, goes to the top spot now, and as he gets around Nathan Johnson there in turn 1.
Johnson trying to go around the outside there, but Cosmos right behind him now, trying to work together. Those two teammates there, Juicy Spider Racing, as Nathan Johnson with the High Side Podcast car, and Juicy Spider Racing for Connor Sposien. You have the K1 speed on Daniel Molnix. But now it's side by side. Craig Martin down on the inside on 8th August into turn number 3. He's got Noah Benson right behind him. Cameron Crankhead kind of hard stuck right here for now, though.
Yeah, and this is kind of what we mentioned, track position being a little bit important. It's a little bit tough to pass, not impossible, but definitely tough, which sometimes is pretty rewarding, but as a driver, kind of being stuck behind, I guess, quote-unquote, slower drivers, it's kind of get a little frustrated sometimes, but what a move there. Craig Martin sending it to the inside Ryan House and easily going to clear the top 5 spot in turn 1.
And these drivers working together now as the top 10 kind of starting to get a little bit more organized, trying to chase those top 3 down. Now they're within a second. But now Craig Martin now back under attack from Ryan House, and it's not going to help that field. But here comes 8th August. Cameron Craighead is going to go side by side down the back straightaway for 2 rows deep.
Side by side, Joshua in position down the back straightaway. Some drivers behind trying to break the draft as Craig Martin looks to the inside of Walters. I don't know if he's there off of turn 3, not quite, but side by side behind him, Craig Martin, Ryan Housen. Housen on the inside, Craig Head on the outside. You have the draft in front from Craig Martin as we now go to the inside, give Housen some draft. As they're duking now is back up front. Nathan Johnson goes back to the point from Daniel Molnix. Kind of swapping positions, maybe saving some fuel as well. We see this in IndyCar, just kind of swapping positions, staying in the draft. I'm not sure how effective it is in a stock car, but I'm sure it makes some sort of difference here. Maybe an extra lap or 2, possibly. This big block there from Nate Bogus on Noah Benson, not quite enough though. It's back to the point. Daniel Molnix is battling for the race lead, lap after lap here, as this could allow some of these drivers behind to catch back up, as I don't know if these drivers up front really want that to happen.
Yeah, right now, Daniel Molnix, Nathan Johnson side by side. He's got Connor Sposien right behind him, but now that's going to allow the next 4, Isaiah Walters, Craig Martin, Cameron Craighead, Ryan Housen, to maybe pull in a little bit if they really start to get battling, but now they're going to start to battle behind them as Cameron Craighead trying to look at the inside of Craig Martin, but Connor Sposien sitting in the wings behind Daniel Molnix and Nathan Johnson through turn number 1. It's a single file out in that second pack. That's going to allow that second pack to kind of close that gap in, as they're still side by side for the lead as they exit turn number 2.
Still side by side, Zabosian. Maybe gonna try working with his teammate up top, as that looks like what he's trying to do, trying to push Nathan Johnson back to the race lead. But it's gonna be tough here side by side as a 4-car breakaway behind them. They're led by Isaiah Walsh, gonna try to catch up to this top 3 spots. And currently they are. They're about 2 tenths quicker last time, or actually 4 tenths quicker last time by, and even quicker this time. These are really catching quickly.
Yeah, these two still staying side by side, putting almost a little bit of contact off turn 4. Molnix on the bottom. He now clears behind Nathan Johnson. He's not going to shut the door. Connor Sposien there. Now he will. He's kind of staying half in, half out of that gap. He slots back in line.
Yeah,
and now they top 3 stay together.
Isaiah Walsh is 4 tenths back now with Cameron Craighead. And pit stop cycle will be happening here shortly. They're 20 laps into the run. Have not pitted so far. Obviously, we had a few caution laps, so probably around lap 25 is when we'll have the pits. but pit stop's going to be happening here shortly, so I think that's why these guys battling so hard, trying to get that track position for the pit stop. So here comes Molnick's back to the inside.
And Molnick's going back for the race lead, trying to get that track position, but Rosian kind of sitting right behind him, just saving his tires a little bit, as we could see some tire wear start to play a factor. Because now we're here 20 laps into this race, 1/4 done, but now we're getting through, as we did have a lot of caution laps there to save a little bit of fuel, but some of these drivers up front, they're gonna have to pit here probably within 5 laps.
As here comes Isaiah Walsh, just gonna look to the inside. As big block there from Nathan Johnson, almost some contact down in turn 1. Walsh just sends it up the racetrack.
He'll sit right there in fourth. Nathan Johnson, now he's under attack for Connor Sabosian. Sabosian moves to the outside, down to turn number 2. Sabosian has the nose clear. He has it cleared on Nathan Johnson, but Johnson should have stick the nose off the exit. He'll slot back in line, but now we have a 6-car pack for the race lead. As Houston trying to tag along now.
And just how quickly that turned into a 3-car battle, now to a 6-car battle here in a matter of 3 laps. So that's how quickly it happened. They had a 1.5 second lead, and now it's gone here. That just shows you how powerful the draft here is at Indianapolis, as now Molnick's leads this pack as they're side by side behind Sabosian and Johnson teammates. Probably want to try to get in line, try to catch up back up to the race leader.
And also keep in mind, Cameron Craig had even topped off earlier off that first caution. Now he's in this lead pack, so now he's going to be able to go a little bit longer compared to these drivers out in front who only been saving under the caution. But we have a 7-car pack for the lead. Just how quickly that battle for race lead just really made this pack much bigger.
Yeah, it could grow here even more as there's small pile behind them. As these drivers, pit stops happening up here shortly, so they know there's a big blocks there. As man, these drivers throwing big blocks as Isaiah Walters and Ryan Housen. I mean, they've been very aggressive here, and we're not even close to halfway yet, either. And they're throwing these big blocks already down the back and front straightaways.
It's off of turn number 4 as Ryan Housen, he'll slot back in line behind Isaiah Walters. A little bit of a battle, allow those top 2 to pull away just a little bit as down the front straight across the outer bricks. Now the question is, when will these top 3 pick? Connor Sabosian, Nathan Johnson, Daniel Molnick, they have stayed out the whole race long so far. They can only maybe go probably just under 5 laps. They did have a good amount of caution to save, but how much longer will they go? And will they pit? And will they pit together? Especially how important this draft is tonight. If you go by yourself, that could hurt you a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of like a super speedway. You want to at least be with another driver, maybe 2. And these top 3 work together pretty well. They probably shouldn't have been battling too hard early on. They could have had a much bigger lead, but either way, they're still 1, 2, 3 at the moment.
They're still working together as the pack starting to spread out just a little bit, but Nate Bogg is kind of in that no man's lane, that island there between the 2 packs as he's trying to tag along to Cameron Craighead. He's also just in front of Noah Benson there in 9th as they battled still around that top 10 spot as Noah Benson and Ruben Rodas as they're side by side off of turn number 1 down the short chute into turn number 2. But so far, this top 8 staying single file. Nathan Johnson, maybe a little bit of contact at the outside wall after turn 2. Here comes Isaiah Walters with a massive run. He's going to try to push Nathan Johnson clear. And Isaiah Walters looking for that 3rd place spot on Connor Sabosian.
Side by side entering turn 3, Sabosian. As Nathan Johnson at the racetrack as well, as he might get a 2-for-1 here in turn 4. Looks like he will. He clears for 2nd. As he comes Ryan Housen now, going to take advantage of that one as well.
Houston just going to slot back in line behind Walters, doesn't have the run to stay alongside. But as we're inching lap and lap closer to those pit stops for those drivers who have stayed out the whole race. Now keep in mind, as we mentioned, a lot of racing here on the service with the iRacing Indy 500s, and a lot of these drivers have been racing at Indianapolis with those Indy cars. But keep in mind, tonight with the stock cars, you have a different stock car oval. The pit entry line is much earlier than what you see on the Indy cars. So if some of these drivers might get caught up by that, might think the pit line may be within the pit wall, and it could catch some of these drivers out. So keep an eye on those pit road penalties, because some of these drivers, they could get off guard and maybe think those pit line might be a little bit later than it actually is. As there it is, here comes Daniel Mollick down the inside. Nathan Johnson,
sideways.
Isaiah Watchers, Nate Balkus, Ryan Houston. A lot of those drivers getting a woe down to pit speed. That's a lot of drivers coming down. Pretty much about 8 cars down pit road there.
Some of those drivers got completely sideways there, especially Daniel Molnick. I think Nathan Johnson as well. Hard on the brakes there. We saw a wreck in the Indy 500 as well, happening the same way. Alex Blow.
And one of those drivers getting a penalty. Jimmy Geikus, a penalty there on pit road. Unfortunate for that 25 machine. He was running just around that mid pack. But he'll have to serve that penalty. But key note there, Connors Rosian, he was at all those drivers pitting there separated him, and he's all by himself right now. So see how much longer he can go. Maybe he might go 1 or 2 more laps. But this could allow maybe a little bit of a breakaway. Some of these drivers to get away by themselves, maybe. Cameron Craighead being one of those drivers who can go a little bit longer. He is pushing Craig Martin, trying to catch Connor Sabosian. As now Cameron Craighead moves to the inside for Craig Martin for that overall 2nd spot for now. As Daniel Molnick's coming off pit road, he's down the back straightaway. He stays on the lead lap, so also another strategy there. So if you get a caution, you don't lose the lap. You don't lose a lap here, so drivers who just pitted can stay out with the caution. So if you're up front, you can stay up front even if you get caution. An unfortunate time down pit road.
Rosian has yet to pit so far. I think he'll probably be coming in this time by. Because Craighead, like you mentioned, topped off on fuel, and Dustin Coggin also topped off on fuel in the last caution 18 laps ago. So he can go a lot further than most of these drivers. Here comes Cameron Craighead.
Cameron Craighead comes up pit road with Connor Sabosian here.
So he's not going to take advantage of that fuel, extra fuel that he has. And Dustin Coggin, he pitted, like I mentioned, last caution, so he has the most fuel on the racetrack for the drivers who have not pitted so far.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a different strategy calls there. Yeah, some of those drivers staying out on the racetrack under those cautions, and some of those drivers pitting. Now, really, that doesn't really make a difference as they're able to. Everyone's still going to make it on 3 stop as they had so many caution laps under that. So many caution laps there, but it allows those drivers who did top off and go a little bit longer, get a little bit more fuel in the car, a little bit more weight in the rear end, and get a little bit more downforce to get that score a little bit lower. Allows maybe a little bit better handling through the pack. But right now, as Connor Sabosian coming out of the racetrack, Daniel Molnick's passing him off at turn number 1. As Connor Sabosian, Gary McCraighead, they're going to come out behind Daniel Molnick by a little bit. But Connor Sabosian, he did have a slight pit road mistake, as he did overshoot his box just a tad bit. It looks like it doesn't cost him a little bit too much time. He'll slide in behind Ryan Houston, though, and Nathan Johnson, as he will have a few lap overcut on those tires there. But down the action, Daniel Molnick's out in front of the neck race lead by about a second now.
Interesting to note, Seymour Hoff currently running 11th place, even with that damage that he has on the race car. Looks like it's pretty severely damaged, but still, he has yet to pit so far. We'll see how many points he can get here tonight, because at the end of this thing, anything matters at this point. I mean, currently our points here right now, so he has to get as many points as he can to maybe still win the regular season championship. Other drivers coming in pit. Kyle Orinsky down pit lane is Dustin Coggin, Cliff Adams, Travis Beavers. Cliff Adams was one of the drivers involved, I believe, in the heat race accidents. So he's running 2nd right now. Travis Beavers, Kate LaPreda, Jordan Evans. One of the drivers involved actually in the pace stop wreck in the heat race. AJ Hutchin in 6th place. Seymour off 7th. Dylan Lamp in 8th, Michael James in 9th, who's currently in pit lane. So Dylan Lamp, the last driver to stay out on the racetrack. So 8th place up and forward, have yet to pit so far. As Cliff Adams closing down on Dustin Coggin, who is currently our race leader. As here comes Cliff Adams down pit lane now.
As I mentioned, these two, they work together pretty well, hold a little bit faster. Be a little bit faster together, but now they're also going to be able to go a little bit longer, get a little overcut on those tires. They could maybe try and chase down those race leaders and maybe try and kind of bridge that gap with the overcut they had. But right now, the top four staying together with Daniel Molnick, currently running 9th, the first driver that has pitted everyone else in front for now has stayed out on the racetrack just a little bit longer as they have hit under that first second caution there we had. Maybe top it off on fuel a little bit.
Now a bunch of gyros coming out pit lane. Now only 2 gyros have yet to pit. That being Justin Coggin and Travis Bieber. They both pitted last caution. I expect them to pit this time by, as they have gone around 22 laps on that tank of fuel. Looks like he's going to load down and come out pit lane. Maybe against Travis Bieber, going to stay out one more time. 94, going to be able to go 23 laps on this tank of fuel right here. That's 93. But right now, Daniel Mullins
Just try to stretch it as long as they can, try to get that overcut, maybe gain a little bit of time with the fresher tires of those drivers pitting too really early. Top 4 now that those pit stops breaking up the field a little bit, but these top 4 staying together as we're really going to be down to Daniel Mullins, Nathan Johnson, Ryan Houston, and Connor Savozian as Cameron Craighead a few seconds back, and he's all by himself. No draft for Cameron Craighead, so he's got a lot of work to do if he wants to try and battle for this race win.
And here comes Justin Coggin off the pit lane, but Lee was easily going to get by him. I believe AJ Hudson. Mullins contact!
Daniel Mullins goes to the grass! Up the racetrack, they're keeping together, but that's what allows Ryan House to move to the inside of Nathan Johnson. Now he's going to look to the inside of Daniel Mullins for the race lead. A big save for Daniel Mullins here. He's going to hold the race lead off turn 2, but he's going to have Houston to this inside. Does anyone go down to help Houston? No, he won't, but Houston going to stay side draft, try to pull Mullins back, but Nathan Johnson with a good run. Now it's Houston's going to have to slide in line behind him. He's still going to try and keep that nose to the inside, though, for a second.
Man, how did Molnick stay in front after that one? Through the grass he went. He's still in front. He'll take the race lead once they get around Travis Bieber down the front straightaway. Wow.
That's a great save from Daniel Mullins there. Just how did he save that out of just the unfortunate push going into turn 1? And it went through the grass, but held the race lead. Great save for Daniel Mullins, and he has been a very fast car tonight, and he won last time we were here at the Brickyard here for the SuperStar Cup. So he's looking to go back to back, and he's with moves like that and very big saves like that. That's going to help him get a little bit closer to this race win and maybe go back to back here at the Brickyard. As now everyone has now pitted for the first time under green. So now Daniel Mullins, Ryan Houston, Nathan Johnson, Connor Savozian, they will now be 1, 2, 3, 4 for the first time. They'll lead the top 4. As last time they were just passing Travis Bieber. So now they will cycle back to race lead fully and start leading those laps once again. But those top 4 are able to pull away from the rest of the field. Cameron Craighead, he still holds in 5th, but about 2 seconds back from the pack out in front of him. Noah Benson, Craig Martin, they're sitting in 6th and 7th. So Noah Benson, a great pit stop from him. He jumps up a little bit through the field as he started in 20th tonight. So Noah Benson having a great drive tonight so far as he's trying to break into that top 5. As these two, they're side by side for that 6th place spot as Craig Martin clears Noah Benson there.
As the top 4 just kind of single file on the pack together. Cameron Craighead has been able to catch up to these guys a little bit these past few laps. Now we got down to 1.5 seconds between him and Connor Savozian. See what he can do here. I mean, he's been really quick so far tonight, but unless these guys start to battle up front, I mean, it's going to be pretty tough for him to catch back up to these gyros in front. But also, Craighead has a little bit fresher tires than Molnick's and a few others in this 4-car pack.
And a big pack, about 5-car pack. They're battling a little bit. Cliff Adams, Isaiah Waltress says in Dustin Coggin, but Cliff Adams, he was in that big wreck earlier. He has actually driven his way up through the field. He's been very fast, and I don't know how he got that car fixed, but he is driven all the way back up to about 11th right now. He's trying to chase down Ruben Rodas. Cliff Adams with a big comeback here tonight.
Yeah, already almost in the top 10 spot, and we're not even halfway through this one as well.
So side by side behind him with Dustin Coggin and say Walters will clear, but these top 4 are staying together as no one really getting too aggressive right now. So try and tick some laps off here. Get a little bit farther into this race, but we're about 5 laps away from opening that window once again as we're getting to halfway. So anyone can pit about 5 more laps, anyone can pit and still make it on one stop. So a good, wide area of strategy here.
Seeing Xavier Johnson gonna take his way to the 2nd place position over Reinhausen as he now behind Darren Mullins. His lap traffic up ahead could also play a factor in tonight's race as well.
So now down the front straightaway, House tries to duck out of line. As he's really been the only one I've seen up in this pack before trying to make a little bit of moves, but it's Nathan Johnson, Connor Jose, Daniel Mullins kind of all staying together. But back right now to the battle about a top 10. Ruben Rodas, Isaiah Walters, Cliff Adams, Dustin Coggin all battling for that top 10 spot as Cliff Adams on the inside of Isaiah Walters right now. As Walters holds the outside, he's going to get cleared by Adams there, but these drivers, the pack of 5, they're all staying together. They're battling a lot for that top 10. That's going to allow Travis Bieber, he's staying out much longer. He's got that fresher tires. Ryan Marshall, Michael James. That's going to allow these drivers to maybe come into a top 10. It's now Ruben Rodas up the racetrack a little bit. They're going to maybe look 3 wide as they watch us to the bottom. This is a battle for that 11th place spot. They're going to be 3 wide off turn 4.
Down the front row they go, still 3 wide. As here comes Coggin to the outside as well. He has fresher tires. He's going to move himself up to 11th, maybe up to 10th here. Will he get around Ruben Rodas? Not quite enough momentum. Cliff Adams 12th, Isaiah Walters 13th. Wow, very aggressive so far here in this mid-pack.
Yeah, just look how much that draft held Dustin Coggin on the outside, had the runoff 4, and he got the draft with Ruben Rodas. They were side by side under him, but Ruben Rodas a little bit under the wall down the back straightaway. That's what allowed Coggin with a good run. Cliff Adams going to follow, going to try and push him clear, but Coggin's going to move up in front of Ruben Rodas, and that's going to allow. Oh, Ruben Rodas tries to back up, tries to get back into Cliff Adams. Adams will slot in to 11th, but now Isaiah Walters trying to work his way up as they're very battling here for this top 10 spot.
Coggin has really fresh tires and to make his way through that pack pretty easily as he's inside the top 10 now. Can he maybe be late contender in this one, maybe for a top 5 spot?
And here comes Travis Bieber. He was one of those drivers who really went long as he's now caught that pack with Skylar Jones as they're trying to close that gap into that pack. They have a pretty big pack here for that top 10 spot. There's a lot of mid-pack battles here in this race.
A lot of battles as here comes Skylar Jones to the inside, almost 3 wide there down the back. And has some lap traffic as well, but he's to the inside of Isaiah Walters for his 14th place spot, and he'll clear there for 14th into turn 3. Walters got to fight on around the outside. Looks like he will. Good run off of turn 3 into turn 4. Still alongside each other. Down the front straightaway.
So single file out there, but a lot of battles still battling around this top 10. Is unlike the top 4. These drivers battling for that around 11 on back. And top 4 staying together, keeping it together. But note Ryan House starting to lose touch to that top 3. I think maybe he made a big mistake. Made a little bit of a wall, but he's starting to lose touch as he's now getting that draft back in. He made a big mistake there up in front as he's now trying to close that gap back into Connor Sposey, and as he's closing it back in, and maybe a little bit of with Jimmy Yankis. As Jimmy Yankis with another lap down there, as Jimmy Yankis was one of those drivers who actually Jimmy Yankis actually just to go a lap down, but Jimmy Yankis one of the drivers that got a speeding penalty on pit road, but this time be halfway through, 40 down, 40 to go here from the Brickyard. That also opens our window now as we'll have a one-stop race to the finish if you pit now. So anyone can pit and make it on one more stop. But you could see someone maybe like a Cameron Craig try to get a big undercut. Maybe you could try that. He's still kind of he was closing that gap down a little bit to our race leaders. Right now, he's still about 2 seconds back. Just can't really, he's not really losing time, but just can't really gain any time. So Cameron Craig kind of all by himself on the kind of lonely island in the middle of 2 packs. Is behind him. He's got Craig Martin, Noah Benson, the big battle we had, as we just saw, for around 10, top 10 to 11. As those drivers are still on their pack, trying to battle together, as they're kind of starting to split apart now, back in around that outside that top 10. But here comes Nathan Johnson. He looks to the race leader, Daniel Mullings. He had the opportunity, and he's going to take the move into turn number 1. So Nathan Johnson to the point now, as now we just start to see the moves as the pit window just opens for Daniel Mullings. Looks back to the inside, side by side for lead off turn number 2.
Right side, down the back straight, where they go. Sabozian going to help his teammate Nathan Johnson on the top side, but almost 3 wide. Here comes Houghton for the race lead. Can he get 3 positions in 1 corner? Not quite, but he might get 2, as Nathan Johnson clears for the race lead and Sabozian clears for second so far, but Johnson tight off the exit of the corner.
As Houston, he trying to make that daring 3 move into turn 3, as he kind of saw that as Nathan Johnson came down to the corner. They lost the front nose a little bit with that dirty air, but now down the front straightaway into turn number 1. Houston still holds, as he'll fall back to 4th, but Nathan Johnson holds the race lead as Daniel Mullings falls back to 3rd.
These top 4 continue to battle it out. Cameron Craig falling back a little bit, as Craig Martin, Noah Benson catching up to that 48 machine for the top 5 spots. We're coming to the pit cycle here shortly, as drivers have to pit here in the next 5 laps or so. As lap traffic up ahead, as Kofex some drivers on the exit of the corner. Outson doesn't look like he got too affected there, off of turn 3.
Top 4 back to single file, but a little bit shake up as now Nathan Johnson kind of Sabozian are 1 and 2. Down, but all that battling was going to help Cameron Craig kind of close the gap, but Cameron Craig is falling back a little bit, as that pack that was battling around that top 10. A few of those drivers coming down pit road, and Daniel Walters being one of those. He just goes down pit road really far back there, but that opens our strategy now, as some of these drivers making their second stop of the race.
Yeah, as Blake McClung also coming down pit lane as well. Seemed like you mentioned Isaiah Walters as well. 2 drivers down pit lane with 35 or so laps to go. As you mentioned, it should be a 1-stop race, pit around halfway, 17 or so laps from now. But Nathan Johnson now breaking the draft on his teammate, Connor Sabozian.
Oh, but Nathan Johnson hard on the wall on turn 2. That's gonna allow Connor Sabozian, Daniel Mullings, and Ryan Houston all go by him. Is a big mistake for Nathan Johnson there. Might have a lot of damage on that right front. He'd be lucky if that didn't give him wheel damage. But that's gonna allow Daniel Mullings down to the inside of Connor Sabozian for turn number 3 for the race lead.
Has a big mistake there off of turn 2, right before pit stop's happening for Nathan Johnson. The side by side for the race lead, Connor Sabozian and Daniel Mullings. Off of turn 4, going to be side by side to the yard of bricks. As some drivers down pit lane.
Going to shove Sabozian through here.
It's Cameron Craig down pit lane. And same with Noah Benson with 35 to go.
So those drivers running 5th and 6th, we'll see whether the way they can move up, as those drivers, they're about 2 to 3 seconds behind this lead pack. We'll see if that undercut can help them close that gap into the race leaders of these top 4.
There's Nathan Johnson tight again off of turn 2. And I think turn 2 has definitely been the most troublesome corner so far tonight. Just how tight it is off of turn 2. How much speed you think you can carry off the exit, but then that wall comes up quickly on you and you're like, wow. It's just very quick, especially in these stock cars.
Yeah, especially turn 2 being a big trouble spot. Normally turn 2 and turn 4 being the worst. Let's take a look at actually before we do that, Daniel Mullings to come down pit road for that 4th place spot.
So Mullings coming down pit lane, but Sabozian and Houghton down the front straightaway, zigzagging across the yard of bricks. And with 34 to go, Zabosian in the race lead. Can Molnix go back-to-back here at the Brickyard? There's a bunch of other drivers coming up penalty as well. Michael James, Skylar Jones, Nate Bogus, and others.
Yeah, but as you mentioned, turn 2 being a trouble spot, very hot racetrack tonight, 113 degree Fahrenheit. But turn 2 and turn 4 being typically those those really terrible corners for tires, as it really hurts them. But also another moment there as well, as you see the 10-mile-per-hour winds coming from the southwest. That means it's pushing them up off of turn number 2, and especially down the back straightaway. It's a crosswind, a cross tailwind down the back straightaway, so that's not helping them off turn 2. It's just pushing them up the racetrack and pushing them close to that wall. But Ryan Houston, he'll come down pit road for that
Those
P2
big
spot.
smokes. I think someone spun on the entry of the pit lane. I think that's Christian Swagger, as he has a penalty. I believe he might have spun on the pit road entry.
Yeah, Albert Lopez another penalty as well. So 2 drivers getting speeding penalties there. I think big lockup there. So that's what that was there.
Yeah, it was a spin. Oh, he hit the inside wall as well. Someone misses their pit box there. I'm not sure that is. One of the drivers on pit lane. Bunch of drivers
I
on
want
pit
to
lane.
keep an eye on the Cameron Craighead. Where does he cycle out to compare to Daniel Wallnix? He's actually not. Oh, wait, he's actually within a second of Daniel Wallnix. That could work out pretty well for Cameron Craighead. The tires are going to be a little bit older though, as we'll see if he can kind of break in within that draft. Maybe one driver maybe slots up in front of Cameron Craighead. That could help him close that gap down to Daniel Wallnix. That could have been a very good strategy call by Cameron Craighead to get that undercut and bridge that gap for that race lead. As here comes a few other drivers coming off pit road. That's Ryan Houston, Nathan Johnson. Where will they cycle out compared to Daniel Wallnix and Cameron Craighead?
He's down the back straightaway at pit road exits.
And it's going to be perfect for Cameron Craighead. He should have Ryan Houston right in between them, but Houston's not going to be able to slot up in time. As Cameron Craighead going to stay side by side. It's just for that net second place position. And Cameron Craighead, a great pit stop strategy. He should have put himself in that lead pack.
He's going to have a chance to win this one late. He just has one more pit stop to make here. And I mean, all you got to really ask for is to be there at the end. If you're there at the end, that's, I mean, like I mentioned, that's all you can really ask for. Is Zabosian still staying out a lot longer than these other drivers as he's coming in this time by. Where will he cycle out here compared to Daniel Molnix and Cameron Craighead, Nathan Johnson, and Ryan Houston?
Now we'll see where Zabosian cycles in, but he's now all by himself out in front as we see a big battle here. Kyle Herlitzky, Blake McClung, Nate Bogus, Dustin Coggin. They all pitted this around that battle for that top 10 spot. Before they all pitted, but Connor Zabosian, he's down pit road. Where would he cycle out compared to the race leaders? Because right now, Daniel Wallnix in that net lead, that provisional lead pack coming off turn 4. But Daniel Wallnix really slow as he had to navigate a lap car, Christopher Busch. That's what allowed Ryan Houston to the bottom, side by side for Cameron Craighead for that net second place spot. As they're going to have another lap car to navigate Alan Kennedy through turn number 1. As Connor Zabosian, he's going to pit road. Very slow pit stop for Connor Zabosian. He might actually lose this pack.
Yeah, he was 2 seconds slower on the pit lane than Daniel Wallnix and Cameron Craighead. Just had a pad pit road entry, pad pit road exit. One with the 2, and he's going to lose a ton of time. Almost a second and a half now between him and Nathan Johnson.
He's going to have a little bit of help with the lap car, but Alan
Contact.
Kennedy, we'll see if he can get back up to speed.
Craig had gotten the Molnix here on the entry to turn 3. He's got Molnix sideways.
There's also another one, Noah Benson, pitted with Cameron Craighead. He's going to try and tag along with Connor Zabosian, maybe try and drag up in front there. But they're hard battling for second between Ryan Houston and Cameron Craighead. As Craighead on the undercut, a little bit older tires. Houston trying to find his way by. That's going to allow Molnix to pull away by just a little bit. It's Dustin Coggin, Travis Beaver, Brian Marshall, Tate LaPrette yet to pit as those top 4 still on the racetrack. As we're waiting for those drivers to cycle and complete our second cycle of pit stops, and then we'll bring that 10-lap window here until we open that window for that final stop with about 20 to go.
As Coggins still out front. We saw how long he went last time.
Yeah, that is just staying out of that first caution as we've been green since that second caution as we start around lap 10 of the race.
Yeah, lap 10.
We've seen these top four stay together. Cameron Craig going for the lead. They're going for the net race lead down to turn one. He's going to make the move. He clears Daniel Mullins in the one.
behind.
Ralston!
As he saves it once again through the grass. Mullins goes second time tonight. The basketball, Cameron Craig down to pull away a little bit, but these guys should catch him pretty quickly here.
And once again, Daniel Mullins saw an amazing save in turn one. This is the second time we saw that tonight. That allows Cameron Craig a little bit of a buffer. As Craig, keep in mind, he's about a 2-3 lap older tires compared to this race lead. But hey, he's not letting that slow him down, as he's now going to be our net race leader with Dustin Coggin and Travis Beaver coming down pit road.
Yeah, depending on how much fuel Travis Beaver can save, he may be able to stretch this one to the end. It's going to be pretty tough. He'll probably have to go around 3 more laps. He did pit last 20 laps ago, but if he saves a little bit of fuel here, he can maybe stretch it, but that's a pretty big stretch. But Mullins back up to the race lead.
Yeah, Daniel Mullins makes that move, the same move Craig had just did. So Daniel Mullins, again, what a big save, and he takes it back to the lead. I think it's Cameron Craighead, as those older tires slowing him down a little bit and allowing them to maybe close that gap up just a little bit. But Cameron Craighead has to try and fight as hard as he can to stay in this lead pack. If he can pit with him, he can stay in this battle for the race lead and stay in contention. As Connors Rosen, he's closed that gap back in, supposedly back in the lead pack.
Yeah, top two have now pitted, so once they come back around, this will be for the race lead officially. Here come the 26 laps to go.
As Craighead down to the bottom, he's got Ryan Houston right behind him. As now Cameron Craighead going to start to struggle a little bit as those tires starting to fall off. He'll slap behind Houston, but Nathan Johnson, Connors Rosen, the two Spider teammates, they're working together. Johnson will move down to the bottom. Suppose he's going to stay up behind Craighead.
Into turn one they go. Johnson tight up the racetrack. Go back out of it.
But here comes Houston. Maybe thought of looking at the inside of Mullins there. Just trying to get a little bit cleaner of that front nose with a 5-car pack for this race lead. If they start really battling, that could allow Noah Benson, but Noah Benson also on the other strategy that could slow him down. He's got Craig Martin behind him. They could try something like Cameron Craighead did that last stop. They could try to pit as early as possible, try and get that undercut strategy, maybe jump into this race pack for the race lead.
Yeah, definitely could be a strategy call here. We've seen it so far tonight, obviously work with Cameron Craighead. But Craighead now under attack from Johnson, and here's Sabosian here in a moment. As Sabosian has really fresh tires compared to everyone in this front pack as well.
Yeah, Sabosian, the freshest tires, he was able to go much longer, so we'll see if that can work out for him again. But now the top two starting to pull away by a couple of car lengths. That's Craighead. He's just trying to hold on just a few more laps. He's got to hold on to at least 20 to go until he can pit. But ideally, he wants to pit with maybe Daniel Mullins, Ryan Houston, Nathan Johnson. If he can hold on to the pack when they pit, he'll be on the same amount of tires and still fighting for this race lead. As that's the problem with Noah Benson, Craig Martin. If they try to undercut and they can get maybe in the lead pack, they'll be on the tire disadvantage, but they're gonna have to do a lot more fighting. But right now, Cameron Craighead is starting to lose a little bit of touch with Nathan Johnson right now. As this time by, we'll have 25 laps to go here from the Brickyard. As Daniel Mullins, he's dominated this race tonight out in front. He's been in the lead pack all night long. Ryan Houston as well. This has been the same top 4 to 5. Just been up front in the lead pack all night long. Neither been giving each other a gap. All of them staying right up against each other. And these 5 all in the battle for the race win. But we still have one pit stop to go here from the Brickyard.
One pit stop left, a money stop here, and I mean, we saw how much time Cameron Craighead gained from early short pitting there. Could we see Noah Benson, Craig Martin, like you mentioned, maybe short pit here as Nathan Johnson's the inside of Ryan Houston for second. And really, this is anyone's race in the top 5. No one's been really too dominant here tonight. You got Mullins out front. Obviously, he's the past Brickyard winner. But I mean, really, anyone in this top 5 has had a chance to lead a few laps at least tonight.
Yeah, Nathan Johnson falls back to fourth, back with this teammate of Connor Sabosian, but just a few more laps until that pit window opens for the final stop. We're going to take this moment, we're going to do a little bit of our elevator, crank it up here for the Brickyard. Welcome back here to the Brickyard from our Crank It Up segment. As this time by will be 20 laps to go, and we're going to open that final pit window to see who will make their final pit stop. But Cameron Craighead on the older tires, he's working his way up the second. He is not giving up. He's fighting on those old tires as hard as he can. But right now, Nathan Johnson, side by side, a little bit of contact up on the front straightaway. Almost goes around, almost into disaster. But they're going to keep it together as how that allows Daniel Hawks pulled away by a couple car lengths once again for the race lead.
Numbs him off, but loose there. Lap traffic from him. Our second place starter here tonight.
Yeah, being involved in that early pit stop, early incident on lap number 3 with Alex Anderson, both taking them out of the contention for this race win. But now this top 5. Will they be the final 5 after these final pit stops to maybe battle for this race win? Or maybe can Noah Benson or Craig Martin? They're about 3 seconds back. They were they were just like Cameron Craighead 1 stop ago. Can they maybe make a big undercut and maybe jump up to this lead pack? It could have maybe extend this lead pack, or will maybe one of these top 5 make a crucial pit stop mistake that could take them out of this race?
Pit stop should be happening here any moment as two drivers can pit from here on out, but I think they're going to go as long as they can and do lap traffic. That really hurt Cameron Craig and Nathan Johnson as they got a bad exit off of turn 1, but it looks like they kept the momentum relatively speaking in the top 5 spot. But like I mentioned, who will pit here early? Will we see maybe Craig Martin, Noah Benson? They're not too far behind. You see them in the background there. only about 2 seconds back from our race leaders as here comes Ryan Housen to the inside of Daniel Mullins.
Yeah, Connor Sebastian, he was the one that was able to go the longest. He last pitted on lap number 49, so he can probably go to about lap 70, so about 10 to go for Connor Sebastian. Cameron Craighead, he pitted the earliest out of this top 5 to try and get that undercut and jump into this lead pack, and it's working out. Now, you probably don't want to preferably be on the undercut. You want to have a little bit of tires left to fight with at the very end. We'll see how that works out for Cameron Craighead. How much longer can he go as Cameron Craighead? He last pitted on lap 45, so he can probably only go maybe about 3-4 more laps maximum. So we'll see, will he be the first one to pit and pull the trigger to come down pit road for the final time?
Yeah, we will see as the top 5, like I mentioned, has really the best chance of winning. I mean, I don't think anyone, obviously outside the top 5, has a chance. You gotta be in the pack to have a chance. And here comes Nathan Johnson inside Cameron Craighead for 3rd. As these drivers have pretty much swapped positions. Daniel Mullins has pretty much kept the race lead for the most part in this last, since the last pit stop, about 15 laps to go. But him and Zabosian has fresher tires. He's about 3 lap fresher tires than Molnix. As now they have a little bit of a gap on Nathan Johnson in that 3rd place spot.
Yeah, that split them up a little bit, but now we're just before the final pit stop. We'll bring our final Superstar ARCA East results as Nathan Barrows will win at Michigan the East Series. So he will join us next week in the Suzuka East for the Cup Series next week. I believe that's we'll see if he gets that East Provisional. So we'll see if Nathan Barrows joins us next week for the Superstar ARCA Cup. That race at Michigan just wrapping up now. But now we've come as we focus on to the final 16 laps this time by. When will they pit? But this top 5 really separated out now.
Yeah, right now I think this would be a good time to pit for some of these drivers on back. Craig Martin, Justin Coggin to be one of them. Actually, one of them did pit. It was Noah Benson now pitting actually as well. So he pulls the trigger early in this one. As Cameron Craighead penalty down pit lane.
Massive penalty in that. Cameron Craighead had a great strategy after that last pit stop and jumped him into the lead pack, and that's going to ruin it. Big penalty for Cameron Craighead, and that's going to take him out of the battle for the
I'm guessing it was speeding down pit lane. We'll take a look at that. I think that's really the only penalty you can get on the entry. And he hit the inside wall, speeding at pit lane. Man, with 16 laps to go, he was looking, no matter what, he was looking for a top 5 finish here tonight. And that pretty much puts it away unless he gets a late race caution in this one. But back out front, Zabosian leads over Molnix, and here they come down pit lane. Can't have a speed penalty like we saw with Craighead. Looks like they wrote it down in time. No one sliding through the yellow cone there. As also, where will Noah Benson cycle out? As he did early pit, he pitted a lap or 2 early compared to our race leaders, and he was only about 2 seconds back. Can Noah Benson maybe slot himself in the top 5 spot and maybe have a chance to win this one late?
Right now, Dustin Coggin, Kyle Hurlitsky staying out as long as he can compared to last time. But Connor Sebastian just coming off pit road, Daniel Mullins, Nathan Johnson. But right now, we'll see where maybe Craig Martin, as he also comes out of pit road as well. As everyone pretty much pitting together.
So here comes Noah Benson. He's still about 2 seconds back from the race leaders.
He actually jumped Ryan Housen there off pit road, though. So that's an extra spot for Noah Benson.
Actually, I think Benson may have took 2 tires only. Only 11.6 second pit stop for that 34 machine. But it's still not enough to catch up to these drivers out front as Ryan Housen had a terrible pit road exit.
And a really bad stop for Ryan Housen as now we have a battle. As right now it's between Daniel Mullins and Nathan Johnson for this race win. As Noah Benson, I think he will cycle to 3rd. Cycle to
4th. Yeah, 4th place behind Nathan Johnson.
Carlos Sebastian out in front, so This top four is starting to spread out a little bit, but Noah Benson with the two-tire strategy call. Could that work out for that 34 machine?
How long can he hang on as Zabosian a little separated from Molnix, a little separated from Nathan Johnson, about half a second in between all of them. So these guys have to work back up together and try to pack up here late in this one. Pit stops still happening all around the racetrack. Yeah, Jordan Warnock, Damon Eberhard, Jordan Evans, and Alex McLean down pit lane.
Right now, Connor Sabosian trying to pull away, trying to hold his gap to Daniel Molnix. So this top four, that's the most separated. We've seen them all night long as he sneaks the draft down the front straightaway. Still a while to go, 13 to go. A lot longer than what you normally see at our typical mile and a half, but 13 laps, a lot of time still left for plenty of mistakes to be made.
Yeah, you can see a lot of time left, and especially a track like Indianapolis, as Zabosian already breaking draft early on in this one. I really think it doesn't really matter at this point because Molnix and Nathan Johnson are already going to catch up to him. It's really just a matter of when, not if.
Noah Benson and Ryan Houston, they're trying to work together, trying to close this gap down for this top three. But Noah Benson on the two tires, I just don't think he's got the grip for that to work as Ryan Houston jumps by him as he will cycle to net fourth place spot right now. But as Coggin, Hurlitsky, and Bieber yet to pit. But now we get a battle for race lead between Daniel Molnix and Connor Sabosian. Daniel Molnix trying to go back to back here for the Brickyard. But the gap to behind, that group behind with Ryan Houston and Noah Benson, about 3 seconds. But these top two, Sabosian and Molnix, trying to pull away a little bit. They're kind of pulling away a little bit for Nathan Johnson right now.
Yeah, as they all pit on the same lap here. So as in the meantime, Ryan Houston did get around Noah Benson there. Noah Benson with the two-tire strategy, which I think was a good call from him. You know, you got to try something. You're really just trying to go for the win. I don't believe he really had a chance in the chase. You know, he sits.
Yeah, and that group behind between Noah Benson and Dustin Coggin currently 0.4 of a lap slower compared to our race leaders. As it really spread out through the field with all these pit stops. As just a lot of battles, they were really battling for around that top 10, but all these pit stops that we've had just really spread out the field. But just a very unfortunate mistake from Cameron Craighead. He was battling up for that race lead, and that really took him out of this battle for the win.
Yeah, Craighead, unfortunately for him, currently sits 18th in the points. Maybe a late race chase charge for him as well. He's around 200 or so points back.
Oh, man, caution on the racetrack with 10 to go!
As Dustin Coggin in the race lead and Travis Bieber in second.
Cameron Craighead involved in that. That was Cameron Craighead off of pit road. Massive damage, but that's what Dustin Coggin, Travis Bieber, and Kyle Hurlitsky were looking for. But Hurlitsky just got off pit road. But big damage from Cameron Craighead with 10 to go.
As he just got sent by Jordan Evans.
It's just a bad push. It looks like we've seen on iRacing since these cars came out. Got locked on the bumper, just swiped the bumper. Yeah, just unfortunate bump there. So really don't know how that turned him there, but huge wreck into turn one, and that's going to throw a big wrench into everything.
Not sure if that was kind of an intentional little bump there because Craig had really blocked Evans there as well. That was
I think that was just a weird kind of bumper hook with this new ARCA car. That's been a problem we've seen since it came out here on the service, and he was a very square push and just kind of swiped the bumper, and it very easily just wrecked someone like that. And I think that's just kind of unfortunate timing there, but that really throws a wrench into everything, as that allows Dustin Coggin and Travis Bieber, they stayed out. Can they cycle the lead though? Because some of these all those drivers that were battling for lead, supposedly Molnix, Johnson, they just pitted. But will they come down for fresh tires, or will they stay on those little bit older tires? Because they pitted about 6 laps ago. So that could really hurt them, but we'll see what Dustin Cog and Travis Bieber do. Is they'll have to come down pit road and take 4 tires, but where will they cycle back out, and where will the rest of the field, what will they do?
Cameron Craig and Jordan Evans, they got involved together at Myrtle Beach. Evans was the one that sent Cameron Craig around when Craig was doing really good, so that could be some pimped up anger as well there with that big block down the front straightaway. But anyways, under 10 to go, caution comes out, and obviously Coggin, Bieber coming down pit lane, no one else coming down pit lane. There's actually Noah Benson coming down pit lane, gonna take 4 tires here probably, and top off on fuel as well.
So we'll see a lot of split strategies. So the net race leaders that we expect, that they will stay out on the racetrack. Sadozian, Malnix will stay out. Nathan Johnson and Ryan Houston will stay out. But another one, Noah Benson, he took 2 tires. He'll come down pit road and take 4 tires, top it off on fuel. As these guys will have a little bit more fuel to play with. Maybe give them a little bit more downforce. That'll allow the rear end of the car to get a little bit lower, make it a little bit lower than spoiler, and could help dirty air, could help them a little bit through dirty air, but could also slow them down a little bit on the straightaway. But it really depends on, it's just kind of, it really depends on how this ARCA car handles with that draft. But we'll see if Dustin Coggin, he got that caution he needed. We'll see will he cycle back out through the field. As actually, we'll see if Dustin Coggin will bring that, we'll see if he can get him in the Discord. We'll bring that 46 machine in here. So Dustin Coggin was running up in front for that race lead and got the caution you wanted. What's your game plan here in this final restart? How are you going to get up through the front?
I'm going to have to pick and choose what lines I go in. I know Kyle in front of me's got pretty new tires. I don't know how old them guys' car. They're about half a run in on them. So we'll just have to see what happens, man. Just try to stay clean.
So you're staying out much longer than most of the field. You topped it off around that lap 10 caution, but you had. So what's your game plan? What was your game plan through that run? Just how's that car been handling out there for tonight? And do you think you really have a really good shot to get up through the field?
Yes, it's been really good. I mean, I can pretty much go wherever I want to in traffic, but that's the hard thing. When you get behind these cars, they don't really want to turn that well. So if you can stay out from right behind somebody and get your line going, you can make some moves, but you got to be careful because it is kind of pack racing here with these cars.
All right, well, thanks for your input, and good luck in the rest of the race. We'll maybe talk to you at the end of it.
Yep, thank you, man.
So that was Dustin Coggin, as he will restart around that 11th place spot as their scoring still getting kind of cycling back out, as we had a lot of these drivers staying out, a lot of lap cars getting their wave around. So just scoring trying to work itself out here. But Dustin Coggin, yeah, he will restart in 11th. The first driver on fresh tires. He'll have Travis Beaver, Noah Benson, Cliff Adams behind them. So So all those drivers on the fresh tires are going to try and work their way through the field and try and battle up to this race lead. We'll see how much of a difference those 6-7 lap tires will make compared to our race leaders out in front of Connor Sposey and Daniel Maltz and Nathan Johnson.
Yes, we'll see as Coggin goes start in 11th place. So he's going to be on the inside there, row number 5. To be row number 6. But I mean, I don't know if he would be able to make up that much time here with 6 laps to go, coming to 6 laps to go, but knowing how these green-white checkers have been, or not green checkers, but ice race restarts sometimes on a draft track like Indy, I think it's going to be pretty chaotic here late in this one.
See how that works out for those race leaders. But Connor Sposey and Daniel Maltz, Nathan Johnson, those 3 have been battling up. Now that'll allow Brian Housing, Craig Martin. Craig Martin has pretty good pace. He's slowly closing that gap down. This is going to really shake up this field with 6 laps to go. We'll see who can win and take that famous win and kiss the virtual bricks tonight. The pace car going to take that hard left turn onto pit road. Connor Sposey and Daniel Maltz on the front row. Green flag back in there with 6 laps to go.
Bozeman clears into turn 1, side by side behind for second. Nathan Johnson, Daniel Molnix. Some contact there. Molnix gets a bit loose off of turn 1. But they're still alongside each other off of turn 2. Down the back straightaway they go.
Off of turn number 2, that's going to allow Connor Samosin to get a big gap and allow pulling away a little bit. But now Houston's going to push Daniel Molnix clear of Nathan Johnson down the back straightaway. Keep an eye on Kyle Herlitsky. Dustin Coggin, those drivers on fresher tires not too far back are sitting around that top 10 spot. That's a lot of shaking up going around. Skylar Jones, Michael James into the wall off turn 3. These
guys have a little bit older tires on those restarts here as well. With that dirty air, these drivers a bit tight in the turn 3 as already weaving. Zabosian has a half a second lead over Molnix. Here, pressing on with 5 laps to go here at Indianapolis.
They have a little gap to Ruben Rodas. Ruben Rodas moves to that top, just outside the top 5 as he falls back into 6th there. Ryan Houston trying to work his way by Craig Martin. Fresh tires not really being a big of an advantage as we may have thought it would have been towards the back as Dustin Cogg and Kyle Herlitsky trying to work their way through. But right now the top 4 pulling away as they're trying to chase down Connor Samosin. Samosin pulling away a little bit still with 5 to go.
Samosin already has 2 wins on the season. Molnix has 1. Nathan Johnson has yet to win so far this season. He won the opener last season at Daytona. He's gone winless so far. Can he kiss the bricks here at Indianapolis? He's sitting at 3rd place spot, looking good for now. As the top 3 still weaving across the racetrack, and Craig Martin not too far behind that 4th place spot.
That's out, 4 to go, 10 miles left, just the Indianapolis qualifying run to go pretty much. But Dustin Coggin, he was pushing Skylar Jones clear of Ruben Rodas, but a big mistake there. That's going to really halt his progress, trying to work his way through the field. They're battling hard for a second here. Couple cars getting the wall up in front of them. Craig Martin, really big momentum loss down the back straightaway. That's going to allow Ruben Rodas to go to the inside, 3 wide for that 6th place position as Craig Martin was in the battle for race win. That's going to cost him a lot of time.
As it gets really tight here, it's 3 wide. Here comes Kyle Herlitsky. Oh, contact on the outside wall goes Ruben Rodas and Justin Coggin.
It'll be 3 wide for that position now. They're battling for that 6th place spot as the top 5 pulling away. They're trying to close the gap in, but this battle's not helping him. But Daniel Molnix, he's closing down the Connor Samosin. It's a 2-horse race for the race lead with 3 to go.
As these guys have really gapped the rest of the field. Nathan Johnson and Ryan Houghton really has fallen back here. About 1.2 seconds back from Houston, as he'll have to have a miracle to catch up to these drivers up ahead with 2.5 laps to go here in Indianapolis. That's breaking behind. Blake clawing around. He saves off for turn 2.
Great save for that Tim machine. We're going to stay under green. But I was about to mention Daniel Molnix. Can he close that gap in? As these drivers on the older tires, how much should they hurt their tires for that green flag run they had before this caution? They're pulling away. If they start, how aggressive will Molnix speed to get this race lead early?
Oh,
they
battle
there. A little contact behind him. 3 wide from Johnson to Dustin Coggin coming to 2 to go.
Dustin Coggin going 4 wide.
4 wide, almost for a second. Here comes Kyle Herlitsky. He's in a big run. They're just battling for the top 5. They're just battling for the top 5.
As the inside goes, Coggin, those fresher tires going to move Johnson up the racetrack. He moves himself up to 5th place now. As through the short straight they go down the back straightaway. As he finally does clear, is still battling for the race lead. Samosin breaking the draft, doing a great job, not letting Molnix get close enough.
Molnix needs 6 more perfect corners if he wants a chance at this race win. He's trying to go back-to-back here from at the Brickyard here in the SuperStar ARCA Cup, but it's starting to get a little bit troublesome as the dirty air not helping him. He doesn't have the draft from behind as he had early with Ryan Houston, Nathan Johnson, and some of those drivers. And Nathan Johnson, big mistake in turn 3, but we have a caution! And that's going to send us into overtime here for the Brickyard, as that might help Dustin Coggin as he's on the fresh tires. He'll line up in the top 5.
Michael James around, I think, off of turn 3, as this changes everything. As, like you mentioned, Justin Coggin in a perfect position right now in that 5th place spot.
And He was hoping for that one, and that comes out at the perfect time. Off of turn number 3 here, and Craig Martin into the wall. He really damaged his car. I think he just over pushed it. As he was very slow, very heavily damaged. He was running after that top 5. Craig Martin gets to the wall, bounces off into the inside, into take the front, and sends Michael James around, and that brings out the caution with 2 to go. Wow.
Yeah, nowhere for those drivers to go. Also, Alex McQueen involved as well. He's on the cut line for that chase, and also in 20th place. Samuel Hoff, 21st. Haven't really mentioned him as of late, but currently our points lead at 21st place, so most likely might lose the points lead here after tonight, with Sabosian possibly winning. But obviously, that all comes to the question here with a late race caution. It's going to be a green-white checkered finish. We saw that in the ARCA East Series, and we're going to see it here tonight in the main event.
Yeah, and ARCA East had a lot of battles there late at Michigan, but did have a little miscommunication. But the East winner will not get a provisional into the Cup Series, so they have a very great East Series going on in that race at Michigan. But that was a very great preview of what we're going to see in the regular season finale here, coming up in just a few weeks' time here for the Cup Series. But Nathan Johnson and Nate Bogus, he had a lot of split strategies. Nate Johnson will come down pit road. He'll have much fresher tires. Well, probably about 15 lap fresher tires of the race leaders, but how well is he going to be able to work up through the field? I think he'll probably restart just outside the top 10, though, so I don't know if he'll really make up a lot of spots in 2 laps.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it would still be pretty tough, though, but I mean, 2 laps, you never know what could happen. A big one. We've seen it obviously tonight 2 times already. So a little mistake in turn 2 or turn down the back straightaway, and that could easily turn into a big wreck and something could happen. But 2 laps to go here in Indianapolis, pretty much 8 corners, and not the most easiest racetrack to pass. We'll see who can make their way through the field. But let's take a look at our biggest gainer so far here tonight. And obviously Travis Bieber up 27 spots currently in.
Yeah, he got that caution when he was out in front with Dustin Coggin, but he's on the fresher tires compared to the race leaders right now, but he's sitting back in 8th, so he's got a little bit more work to do. He's going to work by Ruben Rhodes, Kyle Litsky, Dustin Coggin, a few more, but Dustin Coggin a great spot. But Cliff Adams up a lot of positions, 20 spots. Blake McClung, but a lot of these drivers working their way through the back. They've been proving the dirty air and the track position spots wrong, but they are working their way up to the field a lot.
Blake McClung also as well had a drive-through penalty, so he's had to work his way to the field big time here tonight. Already didn't have the greatest qualifying and heat race as well. Also had a drive-through penalty, so obviously those first few cautions helped him out. Gets back up, but top 10 position for that 10 machine as well.
Yeah, and Dustin Coggin and Kyle Herlinsky, they were 2 drivers that had an EOL penalty from after last week, and now they're perfect in sitting in 5th and 6th on fresher tires than our top 4. Those 2 drivers with EOLs to start the race, their strategies is trying to stand as long as possible. Got the caution, they're in a great spot to take the race win. We'll see what they can do for that 3rd row on the fresh tires, but Connor Sabosian, he should elect to take the outside lane here as we take the 1 to go signal.
Interesting there, but also of note, Dustin Coggin currently 15th in points on the cutoff. Donnie Kite ahead of him in 13th, Alex McQueen in 14th, not having good nights. Obviously, Donnie Kite out of this one very, very early on. Alex McQueen having some damage in that last caution. He's currently running in 20th spot. So Dustin Coggin could have a really good run here tonight and maybe put himself in the hunt even more for the chase in these next 3 races after this one.
Now see, this race can be a very big pivotal moment, as we actually saw with last week at Talladega. We just got off the All-Star race at Knoxville a few weeks ago, and now we're getting that final home stretch. After tonight, we have 3 races left into the regular season, and it'd be a race to that chase and see who can take the Season 2 championship. As Connor Sabosian, he's trying to defend his championship, getting that chase. He's trying to build a little bit more momentum before we get into that chase. Is the 6th race chase, and also, but we're down to the final 4 races after 3 races after tonight for the final 3 races of the regular season.
Yeah, one of those being a road course, one of those being Legacy Atlanta, and one of those being Michigan. So all 3 very different, and all 3 could produce a different winner easily. So we'll see. I mean, 12 drivers making it to the chase. And the rest pretty much fighting for 13th. After
Yeah,
those
Carlos
next two
Rosen
races.
he's also fighting for the regular season championship
Yeah,
as
that as well.
Samuel Hoff is in front of him. But Samuel Hoff had a really bad night tonight as being out early, being very damaged early. So this could be working out very well for Carlos Rosen if he can pick up the win tonight. But he's going to have Daniel Molnix to his inside, trying to go back to back here at the Brickyard in the SuperStar ARCA Cup. He's trying to master both ARCA bodies here at the Brickyard. But the race car's off. Green flag back in the air. 2 to go here for the Brickyard.
It's not a great start from Justin Coggin there. As Carl Linsky slots himself up to 5th place, he clears. He's a
But Travis Beaver, watch out for him as well. He's also on fresh tires, but they're battling for second between Daniel Molnix and Skylar Jones. That's going to allow Connor Sabosian to pull away a little bit. And Connor Sabosian has a gap, has a big gap. But Ryan Houston, he's going to have to try and push Skylar Jones. But Daniel Molnix shuts the door on him. As now these drivers have to work together if they want a chance at the race win.
There's a 3 wide behind there for 8th as Noah Benson, Ruben Rodas, Dustin Coggin as well up ahead. As up the racetrack, it's Blake McClung. Oh, into the wall goes Ruben Rodas.
There's still 3 wide in 83 as they're all battling with Isaiah Waters, Blake McClung, and Noah Benson. Can they keep it clean off of turn 4? Yes, they will. They're going to make it back to the white flag.
Big blocks, but yeah, white flag in the air.
They're going to make it back to the line. A white flag. Skylar Jones sitting in second. Daniel Molnix in third. They're going to keep working together if they want a chance at Connor Sabosian. And Sabosian has enough of a gap, but Daniel Molnix not a great turn 1. Can he get close to Skylar Jones and maybe have a shot down to the turn number 3? But a big gap, about a half a second down the back straightaway. Connor Sabosian trying to pull away, but the gap, but the working together of Skylar Jones and Daniel Molnix down the back straightaway, trying to close the gap into 3.
He's closing it up, but will it be enough? Will it be a late stint to turn 4? Up the racetrack goes Jones. He gets tight. Sabosian all clear from here as long as he doesn't wreck into turn 4.
Daniel Molnix, he's going to clear for second. He's going to try and chase down Connor Sabosian, but it's not enough. Connor Sabosian, he got the gap he needed coming to the line, and Connor Sabosian, he is going to win at the Brickyard.
Oh, they're wrecking behind. Ruben Rodas on the inside wall. Dustin Coggin finishes in 7th. Behind him.
But Connor Sabosian, the crucial restart, he got the gap he needed. He held off the hard-charging Daniel Molnix and Skylar Jones behind him. But Connor Sabosian, perfect move done, and he will win at the Brickyard. And Daniel Molnix, he will not go back-to-back here at the Brickyard.
As Molnix won last season, but he finished 2nd this season at the Brickyard. And the Brickyard, one of the probably the most famous racetrack in the world. They definitely want to win at this track as well.
A great win for Connor Sabosian. He was second in the points going into the night, and his rival out in front, Samuel Hoff, for the regular season championship, not having a great race. Now they do have a drop that could affect a few things, but Connor Sabosian capitalized on Samuel Hoff's mistake tonight, and Connor Sabosian, a great race, and that will no doubt catapult him to the race lead, points lead.
As that's his 3rd win of the season, as that's the most of anyone so far, as he's gonna burn it down and he hits the wall on the front straightaway, right beside the bricks.
See if he burns it down on the bricks. It's typically a controversial thing for Indy, but he'll be able to go kiss the virtual bricks. But he will burn it down, able to win, as that will definitely build a lot of good momentum going into the rest of this regular season. But Connor Sabosian, he's going to celebrate here at the Brickyard. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with our top 3 interviews here from Indianapolis.
ArcaDesigns.com, we specialize in transforming your vehicle into a work of art by revolutionizing the way you see your car with the hottest trends in sim racing. Choose from a wide range of colors, textures, finishes to promote your business and sponsors in style. Whether you're looking to add a sleek matte finish, a flashy chrome accent, or a custom design that turns heads, our designers have you covered. If you want to stand out in the crowd, visit njbdesigns.com today and let our team of professionals transform your vision into reality.
Is going to take the victory 128 laps without a pit stop.
Donnie Kite's going to get through it all and score his first career win. Saturday Night Racing League and throwback at Charlotte goes to Josh Adams.
Welcome back here to the Brickyard. As you just saw, Connor Zabosian pick up the race win. Before we get to the top three interviews, let's take a quick look at our results for tonight's Patti Engineering 200 here from the virtual Brickyard. As Connor Zabosian able to pick up the race win. Finishing second tonight was Daniel Malnix. Skylar Jones rounds at the top three. Ryan Houston finishing a fourth. And Connor Hudsky rounding out the top five. Travis Beaver finishing sixth tonight. Dustin Coggin finishing seventh. Noah Benson in eighth. Isaiah Walterson ninth. And Ruben Rosa rounds out our top 10 tonight. Finishing at 11th was Brake McClellan, 12th of Craig Martin, 13th of Jordan Warnock, 14th of Brian Marshall, Nathan Johnson, and 15th, 16th of Michael James. Nate Logg is finishing 17th, Cliff Adams 18th, Jimmy Gagas in 19th. The Samuel Hawk, even after being in that early incident, he still battles it out tonight. He'll finish 20th, one lap down. 21st tonight, Tate LaPret, Alex McQueen finishing 22nd, AJ Hudson 23rd, Alan Kennedy 24th, Dylan Lamp 25th, Christian Traeger 26th, Albert Lopez in 27th, David Rivera in 28th, Kate McCracken 29th, Jordan Evans that's our top 30 tonight. 31st tonight will be Christopher Bush, Timothy Presley 32nd, Tim Basketball 33rd, Zachary Tyler 34th, and being in that early incident, Alex Anderson and Donnie Kite, both unlucky, unfortunate incidents for both of those drivers. They'll round out 35th and 36th tonight. But out in front, able to kiss the virtual bricks tonight will be that 45 of Connor Zabosian, able to take the race win. How are you able to do it?
I kind of bought my time throughout the entire race, sitting back on those long runs and just saving tires, experimenting, seeing what it would do, how it came to passing, like just a race full of experimentation, because these cars are basically super speedway racing with a little bit of turning. So it comes down to a strategy of definitely saving a little bit of tire, but being able to know how to work that super speedway draft. So that was a big part of it. And then throughout the previous stints that we had pitted, I had pitted like 2 laps after Daniel, Nathan, Ryan, like all those guys that were running with us there. And I tended to come out just a little bit behind them. I mean, granted, I messed up a few different pit stops there, but at that last pit stop, I decided to pit with them, and it definitely turned out for the better for me. Daniel reeled me back in, but we got a caution, and I was really hoping that second to last run went green because I got a really good run through. I don't know if Daniel messed up or what, going through 3 and 4, coming to the white flag, and the caution came out looking down the straightaway, seeing the white flag or waving the white flag. But still able to end up getting it done and had a blast doing it.
Yeah, with that win, and also not a great result for Samuel Hoff tonight. He was out in that early incident there, our first caution tonight, you'll easily be able to take the points lead going into the final 3 races of this regular season. How are you going to use tonight to build that momentum and maybe try and steal that regular season championship away?
Well, unfortunately, I think I'm going to be missing next week, so that's really not going to help me out at all. I mean, it'll probably knock me down a little bit going into the chase, but the chase will level things back off, and I'll have another shot at it there, assuming I don't miss any races. But I'll be taking a provisional next week, so hopefully it keeps me up there so I get a good starting spot in the chase.
Yeah, but a very good win for you tonight, able to get yourself the current points lead. But before we send you off on your way, any sponsor to thank for tonight's race win?
Yeah, I got to thank Moran Chevrolet, McQuaid Heating and Cooling, PPG, Painter Supply and Equipment, The Pleasure Zone, Michigan Independent Door Company, Dynamite Machining, Juicy Spider Racing, you guys for a great broadcast, and all the people watching on the broadcast.
Once again, congrats on your race win. We'll see you. Well, we won't see you next week at Suzuki East, but we'll see you next time, next race. Hopefully next week or a few weeks after.
Thank you.
So that was our race winner of Connor Savosion. We'll bring in our second place finisher of Daniel Molnix. He was able to win last time here. We came to the Brickyard, but able to pick up second tonight. But what do you think you could have differently there to maybe go back to back here from Indy?
Probably not seeing that last caution come out, really. I know Connor was ahead of me at the time, but it was just me and Connor. Nathan, he was, I don't know, half a second or so back. Which had he called us, I'm sure he would have just, worked with Connor the whole time. But yeah, I had kind of short-pitted Connor throughout the whole night just to stay ahead of him and have the clean air and all that. But then he decided to pit when I did, and I was like, okay, well, I gotta get on and off pit road really good. And then hope some guys would catch up behind me and be able to push me up there, because the draft of these things it's ridiculous. I mean, you could be, head and shoulders quicker than second, third, and fourth, but just you can't get away because of the draft. So these cars are fun, but I just gotta, I guess, manage the draft a little bit better.
And you mentioned the draft being very important, especially with that clean air. Just how tough was it out there tonight, managing that dirty air, managing those runs, and it kind of becoming like a little bit of a mini plate race in a way?
Right there, before the caution came out, those handful of laps that I was trying to run Connor down, I didn't have anybody with me, and I was able to, I think, get it down to 4/10 maybe. But not having any help behind me, you're kind of just you just kind of have that bubble between your cars where I'm just kind of pushing them along at that point. So it's hard to get up on them without any help. And you don't want to see it, but really it opens the door to somebody just dive bombing in there trying to make up 2/10, getting into the corner. And Connor's always raced me, clean. He's raced me with respect, so I've always raced him with respect. And had I got there, I mean, I would have never done anything like that. But it's just the air with these cars is weird. Like, you could really, really pull somebody back with a side draft also, which we see more of last week at Talladega. Maybe a little bit of it here tonight. I actually. Whenever Alex and Sam got together right there at the beginning of the race, that was just kind of a side draft going wrong deal. But I'll take second place. Sucks, but better than how my finishes have been recently. So I'll definitely take it.
Yeah, regardless, a very, very solid second place for you tonight, especially after winning last time here at the Brickyard. Very good finishing here at the Brickyard. So definitely going to be one to watch out for every time we visit this racetrack. But before we send you up on the way, any sponsors to thank for tonight's second place run?
I want to thank Sam and all those guys over there, Juicy Spider, putting this on. This league is a lot of fun. All the guys that revved up. I don't know where they've been. Me and Alex really the only ones to show up, so I guess it's kind of me calling the rest of the guys out, like, what the hell, kind of hanging us all out. But shout out to those guys, I guess, and really all I got for you.
And once again, congrats on your second place finish. We'll see you next week at Suzuka.
Thank you.
So that was our second place finisher of Daniel Wallings. We'll bring in our third place finisher of Skylar Jones, coming out of nowhere there, finishing there in starting 17th tonight. You able to work your way through the field, and just how were you able to master that dirty air and master that passing difficulty, and just how tough was out there tonight to pass, and how were you able to do it and pick up a solid third place run for you tonight?
I don't know how. I was running about 15th all race. As you mentioned, I started 17th. Then on lap 65, I made the call, try extend that middle stint a little bit longer, then go on to two tires, try to undercut some people, but then also hope that the two tires would loosen the car up, especially on entry and the center of the corner, and luckily it did. And then I was a little bit disheartened when I first saw the second last caution, but then ultimately it ended up helping, and then I ended up having the confidence to be able to attack and put myself into a position to then be able to start behind Connor, where I owe a massive thanks to. They were really the reason that I was able to get as good of a jump and get to the podium, but otherwise, mainly it was just down to strategy and taking two tires. I was hopeless all race. I had no confidence in the car with how tight it was, but just having those two tires helped loosen it up just enough to give me the confidence to attack.
And you mentioned that two-tire call there. You're trying to work your way through the field. Just talk us through that strategy there, and just how were you able to really determine that strategy call, and just how those two tires helped you very well, and how you're able to use that to build momentum into the rest of this regular season.
Well, as I had mentioned, I was not feeling confident with the car. It was just way too tight. I prefer a looser car, and in my other leagues, I've always been known for taking two tires, knowing how it can loosen the car up and getting you a bit of track position. And some cars, it's a little bit sketchy, but the couple of times that I have taken two tires with this new ARCA car, I found that it more often than not helps. So just being able to have that confidence to just know that it can't really get much worse. I'm going to finish outside the top 10 either way. At least taking two tires, at least I can gain a little bit of experience, know what I can and can't do with the car, and now I know what two tires does in the car. That's going to give me a lot of confidence going forward, and who knows, maybe I can make a little bit of a... I'm struggling to find words. I'm shaking right now. I give up. I can't talk.
It's all good there, but a very solid run for you tonight. A bold strategy able to pay off for you, and able to pick up a podium finish tonight. But before you send it off all the way, any sponsor for tonight's third place run?
I'd like to thank Carlos Acosta at Free Wide Television for coming on board and sponsoring the car this season. We're actually going to be going live tomorrow night at 11 Eastern with Oscar. So if anyone is around and has nothing to do, go check them out. Go show support to those who have helped me be able to race this season. And I also want to thank, like I mentioned, Connor, for giving me the ability to be able to attack and get that podium, as well as Michael and Nate on Venom Performance Racing for bringing me on and into the team and helping me just grow as a driver this season.
Yeah, once again, a very good race for you tonight, able to pick up a third place finish. We'll see you next week at Suzuka.
Oh, a road course. That should be interesting.
So that was our third place finisher of Skylar Jones. As a great run for that 47 machine tonight. But we saw a lot of great racing and a lot of dirty air, a lot of drafting tonight. But it put on a very exciting, thrilling race all night long with that lead pack. And a few cautions threw a wrench into things, especially with those strategy calls, just like Skylar Jones able to work the way up into that top 3 with the 2-tire strategy call. We saw Dustin Coggin, Kyle Herlitsky, Travis Beaver. They stayed out long. They were running around that top 10, top 15 all night long. They were able to boost their way up in that top, just outside that top 5. So very, very interesting strategies that paid off with that caution falling with about 10 to go, and it was a very fun race out there tonight. And Connors Bozeman was able to master the drafts in dirty air. He was able to win and kiss the bricks tonight.
Yeah, just overall very good race. You saw tire strategy, fuel strategy as well in the portion. That one we went green for around 60 or so laps. Obviously, you had Samuel Hoff and Alex Anderson being involved in very early cautions. Same with Donnie Kite. So a few contenders there out early, and a big one also on around lap 8 as well. So we've seen pretty big wrecks, also some strategy, and just overall great racing. A lot better racing than I thought we were going to see here at Indianapolis.
Yeah, it's definitely really, really fun. It put on a very exciting race. So it was definitely fun calling this one up tonight. But after tonight, we go to the 2.5 mile of the Indy, and we go to Suzuka next week. So going from a 2.5 mile oval to well, not really oval, a road course. A rectangle, but to a road course of Suzuka next week. So that'll definitely be fun to watch next week. But before we get there, coming up next here on the Legends Racing Network, Friday night, we'll have the Inter Cup Series at Charlotte at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. And on Monday night, we'll have the 5 Points Racing Turnkey Network Solution Series. They'll be going to Talladega, 9 o'clock Eastern Time on Monday night for their regular season finale. And we'll have next week for the SuperStar ARCA Cup Suzuka East Circuit at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Hope to see you there. And Undisputed Cup Series, they'll be back on June 5th, the day after Suzuka for the SuperStar ARCA Cup. They'll be going to Watkins Glen at 8:50 p.m. Eastern Time. And also next Sunday, we'll have the Stampede Racing League Super Spider Premier Series. They'll be back at Iowa at 9 o'clock Eastern Time on June 8th. But definitely a fun few road courses, a few short tracks, and a super speedway coming up here soon on the Legends Racing Network. But it was definitely a fun one to watch here from the Brickyard tonight. I'm Aaron Brown, who's joined alongside of my co-commentator and producer tonight of Talent Drake. We'll see you next time on the Legends Racing Network. So long from Indianapolis.